Chiclets fans, what's up? Biz here. If you're looking to rock some fresh new merchandise, head over to barstoolsports.com/chiclets. We got Pink Whitney stuff, we got golf gear, we got shot glasses, anything you can find on top of these bucket hats, head on over.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to episode 396 of Spittin Chiclets, presented by Pink Whitney from our friends at New Amsterdam Vodka here in the Barstool Sports podcast family. What's going on, folks? First episode without games in quite a while. Hopefully you enjoyed your Canada Day, July 4th, whatever else you might have celebrated. But let's check in with the fellas, see what they did over the holiday weekend. Let's cross the pond to our buddy Matt Murley, a.k.a. Merles, a.k.a. Murr. What's going on, my man?
What is up, fellas? I am in one over here.
Shocker.
This goes back our family, my whole family. We were over in the U.S. in April. My daughter was old enough to get the chicken pox vaccine. So I make the call to my good friend, Dr. John O'Brien, big Chiclets listener. Hey, Doc, got to get my daughter in, get her the vaccine. He goes, I'm a little under the weather. I said, not a big deal, Doc. We'll be back at the end of July and August. We'll get it done then.
No.
Friday night, we see a couple dots. They must just be bug bites. Nope. Full-blown chicken pox. And we are in one here. If you Googled chicken pox, this is what she looks like. Like the worst case.
There was a pause there. I thought the story was ending at the fact that she just can get the pox vaccine, but all of a sudden she had an outbreak.
Yeah. So now we're 2 weeks away from coming back for the Chiclets Cup. She gets a huge outbreak. She refuses to put on the lotion. She refuses to go into the oatmeal bath everyone tells us about. It's an absolute shit show. We're not sleeping. I'm just feeding her ice cream and candy just to survive like the next hour. It's absolute mayhem. So 4th of July is a little different for me this year over here.
Chicken
Put the fucking lotion in the basket.
Moritz, I think the biggest thing you might want to worry about is I'd be a little worried if my doctor was a Chiclets listener. That's kind of you might have to make sure this guy knows what's going on.
Dr. Kevorkian.
Hey, by the way, chickenpox, I believe they now say, or maybe they forever have said, if that's the case, you're supposed to have like a legit chickenpox party and just bring all the kids over and have them get it, and then you never get it again. I had the chickenpox bad one time, and I remember doing the same thing. I wouldn't let my parents put the lotion on. So I don't blame her. Just take care of her. She'll be on the mend soon enough, but you won't sleep now the next week.
No, it's been tough, but what are you going to do?
Tough way to start the podcast. Is that going to throw you off for Chiclets Cup or what? You going to be okay coming over?
Yeah, I'll be set. I got a kind of a foot injury again, though, Coach. So
here we go. Here we go.
Yeah,
here we go.
Fell down the stairs. Hey, maybe a couple shots of Pink Whitney for her, help her out, calm her down.
Ooh, I do have some. I got my
What's
nice Pink Whitney
What's the legal
shirt.
drinking age in Sweden?
7.
18 to go to the bars. This is interesting. 18, you can go to the bar and you can drink, but you cannot go to the store and buy the booze until you're 20, I think, or 21.
What a stupid rule.
What
a stupid rule.
Yeah.
That sounds like a rule for the U.S., some dumb rule that makes no sense. Well, all right, what else do I have for you, Merle? I'm surprised also you led off the podcast with how crazy life is, but you are an insider, so we'll get to that a little bit later. You were breaking news of an original 6, so I want to get into that story.
Oh, yeah. Can't wait to get to that. Mr. Granelli, what did you do for the 4th of July here?
Yeah, unlike Merle's, I had myself a fantastic weekend. Went down the Jersey Shore, actually rented a pontoon boat with a bunch of people from Barstool Sports on the 4th of July. We went to this place called F Cove down the shore. It's unbelievable. A bunch of people pull up their boat to this spot. Everyone's just boozing, having a great time. The Pink Whitney was flowing. But to be honest, I'm most excited. I want to hear from Biz. Biz told me he's trekking around the wilderness all 4th of July. So let's hear from him.
All right, Biz. Yeah, I saw some nice scenic photos from wherever you were. You can disclose it if you want. What was your adventure like?
Well, no. So I drove all the way up to Victoria, BC. I stopped in Vancouver last night to see a buddy of mine, Donnie Superstein, Joey Superstein's father. And then I took the ferry over because I always describe him as Joey Superstein's father. Fuck you, Whit.
I think you're messing with us at some point, but no, it's like Donnie Superstein, Joey Superstein's father. I love it.
I love driving. It's where I get a lot of my phone calls done, a lot of my thinking done. So I actually drove from Arizona to Jackson, Wyoming, where I bought some property over the Christmas break there, and just wanted to go see it and check it out. I actually got together back-to-back days with Brooks Orpik. who lives in Jackson, Wyoming too. So he took me on a hike, showed me the lay, showed me the lay of the land. Got to know where places in town were. But I talked to you about it on the phone. Whit, I don't think you've been there either. Neither of you are. Jackson Hole, Wyoming is one of the most majestic places on the planet. It's like, in the beginning of Jurassic Park, when they start coming into the park area and you're like, what the fuck? These mountains can't be real. So it was a great couple days. I went to check on the lot. I ended up meeting every single one of my neighbors up there because everybody's got 10 to 13 acres parcels of land. So
are there any houses built up there yet? Sorry, or is it all
there's 6 houses built up there so far. So it's the wild west there. So there's a parcel right beside me that's about 37 acres, and I was talking to my one neighbor who owns 4 of the parcels, and he's got 2 houses on 4 of the parcels, and he ended up buying up the one in front of the one so nobody could build on it. That's how much dough this guy's got. But he tried to buy the parcel next to his, which was that 37 acre parcel. And the people, they won't even engage. You can't even see who the listing guy is on it. So these people are just keeping these unbelievable properties and they're sitting on them till the end of time because that's how special this place is. So eventually I'll probably build something on it and then we'll have all you guys out there and we can do some special chiclet stuff. But they got a senior team in town. I think they're the Jackson Moose. I don't know, maybe they'll eventually get into a higher level of pro, but after I was done in Jackson saying hi to Orpy, I took off. And then as I said, I drove all the way up to Victoria. I'll be golfing VGC at my club and moving into my place in September for about a month and a half before the season kicks off. So it was quite the trek and journey, but saw a lot of beautiful places on the way up. That's for sure.
Biz, sorry, go ahead. All right.
No, I asked you, Biz, I didn't realize you hadn't built anything because I was like, are you renting your place shit? Because I would love to go out there just to fucking chill for a week and not worry about anything.
So, I mean, I think maybe on the way back down or next summer, I'd be down to go pitch some tents up there and have a campfire and do whatever. It's a process there. There's only so many workers. They're having a bit of a housing crisis for the people who actually build the homes, because of course everything's so expensive. So I think near the village, they're actually building houses that are specific for people who come into town to work. So I think it was Jackson Hole was a place that really popped off during the pandemic because people could only do so many things. And obviously the wilderness and the national parks to a certain extent were open, and they were just getting an influx of people coming in to check it out and being able to actually do something. And I think that's really sent it into a different stratosphere as far as people trying to move in. So eventually RA, but hey, if you want to go pitch a tent on my lot sometime, buddy, feel free.
All right. Maybe I'll bring something to sleep in too. What are you going to ask him, Whit?
What do you mean?
No,
a sleeping bag?
I was being pitch a tent. I was making a boner joke, Biz. That's
okay. There you go.
No, listen. For anyone watching on YouTube and you guys checking on Zoom, if you haven't noticed that RA right now, his Chiclets logo looks exactly like his left nipple. So please, RA, say something so Biz can see you right now. It is just perfect. It's unbelievable. It's your nipple. It looks like your legit nipple. I can't stop looking at it.
That is actually good placement. Yeah.
Now, RA, let's send it over to either you or Whit. Actually, let's go to you, RA. What did you do over your July 4th weekend?
I took it easy Friday and Saturday night. I actually did a little work. I finally finished the Red Wings Avalanche Unrivaled documentary blog. We're going to get to that a little bit later. I wrote up about the Montgomery hiring, which Moritz had the scoop on. And I just kind of chilled out. I had a family cookout Sunday, which was really nice. A lot of my family, we haven't seen each other. We haven't had the cookouts for the last couple of years because there's COVID shit. So I had a nice day with the family, kind of took it easy, was able to drive home. I had 2-3 beers when I got there. Didn't drink for the next 6 hours. Then went home, met a few friends for drinks late night, but nothing crazy, but it was nice to see some people. Then celebrate the 4th. Not outlandish this year.
Yeah, get a little rest, buddy. Rest and relaxation. That a boy. Any firecrackers or fireworks?
Nah, fuck that noise, man. I'm all set with that shit. I'll watch the ones in the Esplanade from afar, but as far as going over to Biffos in the north end and buying fireworks and blowing my hand off, all set with that shit.
Right. RA was a guy lighting M80s, throwing them in the school toilets.
I mean, did you see that clip?
Bart Simpson.
That went viral. The guy lit it off fireworks in front of the house. The lady had to get a baby and run off in the house. And then they hit all the fireworks they had in the car. It started the car on fire. It's been going all over the internet. Fucking insanity.
I did
People are
not.
such idiots.
Every year there's a couple of fireworks videos that go viral of people being donkeys. Like there's
Back
one
up,
where
Terry.
the guys,
Back up, Terry.
yeah, there's one where a legit house burns down because they were all stored in the garage, and it just like
Yeah.
All right, Whit, you must have had fireworks going with the kids on July 4th, no?
Yeah, my brother-in-law and my wife's aunt, her husband. When I bought this place in Nantucket, I know the guy I bought it from, and he left basically everything in here, and including, I don't know, a couple grand worth of fireworks. So this is the first July 4th we stayed. I've been over here, and I was like, all right, well, let's go. But I'm not going anywhere near that. He's a correctional officer. I said, dude, you're going to be the JPP of the correctional officers union with blowing your hands off. But they set it up in a way. They had the pipe. They set it all up. So one of the packages just ripped off 50 right in a row. You just lit it once. It was sick. We had a great time out on the beach. You could see them everywhere, like across the coast to like Cape Cod and then around to like the main area in Nantucket. So it was a blast. What else did Biz, I had something to ask you though. Oh, how's Orpo doing? Because I owe that guy a phone call. Was it good to catch up with him?
But
he
he's
loved
doing
it out there.
Yeah, he's doing awesome. He's got 2 daughters, his wife. He's actually doing with the players with Washington. How do you say that when they like talk to the players and stuff?
Player development?
Player development. And I think just because Orpik, he's good at. Why are you laughing? Why are you laughing, G? Because I fucked that up?
I just feel like development's a word you should know.
Yeah. No, buddy, it's not that I didn't know.
He knows it in French. He knows it in
wasn't
French,
clicking to my brain, buddy. Sometimes the fucking
second language, Biz, no worries.
Sometimes the wires are crossing. But of course, like everything, Brooks is unbelievable at it. So I think they've been trying to get him more involved. But buddy, after making that type of money and now that he's chilling, he bounces back between Boston. He does pop into DC once in a while, and I want to say they asked him to go to the draft, but he didn't go. But then his other free time, he's in Jackson, and he's hiking, he's enjoying life, he's enjoying time with his daughters. He's still a machine, working out like 4 or 5 times a week. He was one of the first guys where after every game he would play 20 minutes and then he would be in there doing a full workout after the game, and he would be like one of the last guys to leave the rink, and just an ultimate professional. He hasn't really gotten much smaller. He's still jacked, still looks incredible, and just living a very healthy lifestyle. So that's why I was picking his brain, seeing, is this the type of place you can live maybe full time? How does it get in the winter? But all in all, dude, he's crushing life, and he's such a good guy. And I think what he said to me is he asked Joe Sakic for the advice. And basically Joe said, listen, he goes, when you retire, take some time away, and you don't need to work full time. But my advice would be just stay in the game somehow, whether it's player development and you're working 20 hours a week, making phone calls, catching up with guys, or, and then progressively, maybe as, your kids grow older and you have a little bit more free time on your hands, that's when you can kind of grow your role. So given with how successful he is at life, I could see him potentially down the road, maybe in 10 years, maybe in a management position.
Well, it's funny because we're going to get into Mike Greer, but he was the same way. Just 2 guys that just the work ethic after being younger, looking back now, it's like, that's why those guys are successful as they were. And now you're going to see them taking over in like major hockey roles. So that's good that you caught up with them. I was supposed to play golf with them, but we'll have to catch up. I'd be over there in the summer if I had a place. It's just, everything I've heard is sick.
It's awesome. So he was fortunate enough to get in that market in 2018, and he's not looking back. So he's playing with the house's money. I went up to his place. He's at the top of one of the mountains. I won't kind of give away too much information. We don't need any boosties knocking at Brooksy's door. To ask
right from Wilkes-Barre.
To ask him to be their personal trainer. He has a 360 view of the entire Jackson area, including direct shot right at the Grand Tetons. One of the most immaculate views I've ever seen. So he is just crushing life. So congratulations to Brooks Orpik, and hopefully we can get him on again. We've had him on once before, so it'd be actually great to be able to catch back up with him and tell some old wit story. We were telling some stories that we won't divulge any of the ones that we talked about after we hiked up that mountain. So we can move on. All right.
All right, we got an awesome guest coming, not right now, a little bit later. The recent Calder Trophy winner, Moritz Seider from the Detroit Red Wings. Awesome kid, awesome interview. This kid has such wisdom beyond his years. He's 21. You think you're talking to like a 35-year-old guy. Going to get to that a little bit later. But Biz, you got a pretty busy summer coming up. The Biz Pink Whitney Canada Tour. It's going to be coming this July and August. July dates are official. Wednesday, July 13th in Toronto at the Lake House Bar at Bud Stage. And Friday, July 15th at Mansion House in Biz's home region of St. Catharines. Admission is free to all events on the tour. Biz, you must be fired up for this now that we got a good shot at you.
Oh, I'm fired up to get to the Mansion House in St. Catharines, Ontario. Get all my degenerate buddies from the Niagara region involved. If that place isn't jam-packed, I'm telling you right now, I'm never coming back to the Niagara region to do an event. I want to see all of you there. We're going to be crushing Pink Whitney all night long. And that's actually on the 15th in St. Catharines at Mansion House. 2 days before that, I'll be at the Lake House, as you said, in Toronto. That's going to be a blast. And on the 14th, I'm taking my sister and my family, my parents and everything to the Blue Jays game. And we're going to be getting a score bet going. So we'll be live in attendance for one of the Jays games at home. It used to be called the Sky Dome. I still call it the Sky Dome. Everybody tries to correct me. They can lick my nuts. So shout out to Pink Whitney. We are not going to talk about the exact dates and locations of the Western Tour, but it will be starting in Winnipeg. We will be hitting up a lot of cities along the way. Stay tuned for that, but let's focus on Ontario in July on the 13th and 15th at Lake House in Toronto. And as we mentioned, Mansion House in St. Catharines, Ontario. Pink Whitney Tour.
And just over the border from Ontario, we are going to be in Buffalo for the Chiclets Cup. We have our musical acts for the Chiclets Cup, the Friday night party at Riverworks. We're going to have our buddy Dante, the DJ from Barstool, and Boston Levi. Someone in the hockey world known as a former pro hockey player, Mike McNamee. Since the shutdown back in 2020, he's been giving the music stuff a go, and he's starting to get some real traction with it. So we got some nice music on tap. G, what else do we got for the Chiclets?
Wait, former Cardiff Devil, show the man some respect. Played in the EIHL for crying out loud. One of the best leagues in the world. Dominated during the lockout. What were you going to say, G?
I think two things to keep an eye on. One, golf simulator. I mean, Witt's going to be hanging around the golf simulator the whole time. Doesn't get any better than that. And two, we got bubble hockey. Merles will be hanging out by the bubble hockey table. So go try to take down the champ.
Oh, great. And all our Chiclets fans will be leaving with no dough because Merle's going to be scamming them at the fucking bubble hockey. And same with Witt at the simulator.
No, Merle's is going to take their money at bubble hockey. Then I'm going to set the simulator to actually figure out my swing. So I'll be able to guess every yardage and I'll swindle even more money from everyone. But in the end, dude, it'll still be a good time. I promise.
I won't come home with any money. There's a casino right next to the ball hockey courts. So.
Yeah, where's Merle's? He's losing his per diem pack that we gave him to be a big deal select.
Merle's brought over chicken pox and left with nothing.
RA, you mentioned part of his story there in the fact that I believe the COVID kind of went down. And he figured, this hockey thing is not going to bring me maybe long-term success. So he took a nosedive into the music career and has been blowing up. He's been touring through Canada a little bit, and it's good to see Boston Levi, and he will be going on stage before Dante. So it's we got the live act, and then we get maybe some of the bangers, the hip hop bangers, where RA can be grinding on the dance floor, sweating all over all the Chiclets cups.
Some Buffalo biscuits flowing in the air. If I'm gonna have to start doing the punch in the air, I may need some Buffalo biscuits or something. If I'm gonna have to punch the air.
Oh yeah, I'm sure that's a place that's known for its ecstasy. Get made.
It's what?
Oh, is that what it is? Is that what it's called?
What did I call it?
Biz, what room are you in right now? It looks like you were just given a microphone in prison.
I'm at my buddy's place in Oak Bay here, right near my place. So I got people renting my place until beginning of September, and that's when I move in. And boys, I got a reno going down in Scottsdale at my place. So I think that Canada might be my residence here for at least 6 months coming up. So I'll be bouncing up and down between the States when we're working there and doing TNT. And then after that, just coming up here and playing golf and relaxing. So I asked Biz
to what's his address to send him some merch, and he goes, "Dude, I don't have an address. I don't have an address anymore." He goes, "I'm moving around for the next." It's going to be
6 months. VGC golf course.
He lives in a van down by the river, dude. He's basically homeless.
I'm going to turn into a full blown granola. I'm going to get a Sprinter van, and I'm going to live on my dirt in Jackson, Wyoming. I'm going to get a shotgun. And it's actually, these lots are in the midst of an elk reserve. So you can only build your fences 3.5 feet tall. So all winter long, you see these elk walking through. So I'm going to have to protect myself with a shotgun. Right behind us too, all national forest. So that's where they come in from. So I'm going to go a full outdoorsman biz and ditch the podcast and join the Barstool Outdoors Club.
You'll be the into the wild guy eating some grapes that look great, and all of a sudden you're fucking done in the woods. You couldn't be alone, dude. I wouldn't trust you.
You don't think I could last 6 months in the wilderness?
Fuck
no chance.
You wouldn't last 6 days.
Do I have a better chance of completing the Tour de France or living out in the wilderness?
You have a better chance of doing the Tour de
France
France backwards on the bike, like rolling backwards and somehow getting up the hill, than you do of surviving in the wilderness 6 months. I don't think you understand. You could be a nomad. You'd be done.
I know mating call.
You'd be like, oh, look at these mushrooms. These look good. All of a sudden.
I call over the moose like that. There's my meat for 6 months. Like my dick.
Sodomized by a
protein
moose.
diet, bitches.
Well, Biz, you will be crisscrossing Canada with that 5 times distilled vodka infused with fresh lemonade flavor. But that's not the only place you can unwind with some Pink Whitney this summer. Hit up your local package store or head over to your local bar and get some as a shot or a nice little cocktail. Either way, enjoy some nice Pink Whitney this summer. It's going to be flowing all over the place.
I know Curtis McDermott did. Holy
Yeah, I was going to say, speaking of Pink Whitney, I've gotten messages from everybody asking if you guys sponsored the cup party, the parade.
Fucking rights we did.
You might say so, Merles. You might say so because the Pink Whitney was also flowing through the streets of Denver earlier this week during the parade. Boys, that was good stuff. I love when they bust out the fire trucks for the parade. It's a nice touch, but so much went on. You know, you had Gaudreau with the too many man shirt. Bo Byram gets stopped by a cop who doesn't recognize him. Jared Bednar with the very emotional speech. You mentioned Curtis McDermott playing Timber at the cup. What was your favorite part of this, Whit, of the celebrations from this week?
The Bo Byram thing was the Bo Byram thing. He's so genuine. He's like, "Oh, officer, I'm on the team. Like, I'm a player." The officer's still like, "All right, go ahead." It's just so good. It's so he looks 16 years old.
Yeah.
And meanwhile, he's buckled and he runs off back to the boys. I can't believe though. What the hell did the cup do to these guys? They are dummying the cup. They got the fall when the beginning picture on the ice happens. McDermott's going backwards. The McDermott video is one of the best.
No, the McDermott
I've ever seen.
That's the cup getting its retribution. It ended up slamming the heavyweight down. It was like you know what it reminded me of? The cup against the Avalanche was when in Family Guy when Peter Griffin is fighting with the chicken. It's just like this nonstop battle back and forth of them fighting.
For 12 minutes.
Oh man, it is deceptively heavy once you get it up that high. You got to drop that foot back like a weightlifter.
So there's some like old school people that are obviously not fond of the way that the cup is treated after it's won. This has been going on since the beginning of time. There's just cell phones now.
Exactly.
There's stories of when the Pittsburgh Penguins had it. It got stuck at the bottom of the pool because the water got in it when they were chucking around like a water toy. So this has been going on. The perfect trophy ever. It takes a beating and keeps on ticking, and then they just bump it out. They remold the metal and right back at it, crushing things out of it, and I'm sure doing some extracurriculars. And we tried to get another Avs player on this podcast, guys, but they went so hard, and rightfully so. When you experience like not only the intense nature of trying to win the fucking thing, but then this is going to be your last time with all those guys. So you really have to enjoy those moments. And they did. And I think they went on probably a 6-day heater after putting their bodies on the line for the whole season and then the 2 months of playoffs. So they're going to lay low. We're going to hope to get Mac, and he'll answer some questions about giving the finger to Aunt Marcia along with the entire celebration, the Cup Parade. We're going to try to get Bednar. We're going to try to get a couple other guys on here. Looking back, it's almost unbelievable how gracious Tampa was with their time before they were in or in the midst of the celebration. So we were very fortunate last year and even this year to get Eric Johnson for the 23 minutes that we did. He was incredible, absolute quote machine. Him talking about Landeskog, which is, by the way, the new name on the back of his jersey. I don't know if you saw that. They got him in the team store. But we got an unbelievable one on deck, though, besides that today. So congratulations to Colorado. Incredible celebration. Unbelievable viral clips. And I don't know. I guess I'll throw it over to you, RA and Merles. What did you guys like the most of everything going on?
Merles?
Yeah, I had a good one I liked, and it goes in with you talking how they were worn out. Logan O'Connor, Denver University, won a national championship with our boy Rudy under a coach named Jim Montgomery. I don't know if you guys have heard of him.
I've heard of him.
Okay. But he showed up a couple nights ago. He was at the MLS game, the soccer MLS game with the cup, and he was the only guy there. Like everybody must have just been done.
It was over.
It's over. It's over. He's just there by himself. You saw the first day of the Rockies game, the whole team's there, and then all the videos. And I just thought that was funny. By day 6 or 7, it was one man with a cup at a game.
WrestleMania. We talked about being a cage match. He was the last man standing.
If you're young and single, you'll go as long as until Phil Pritchard's like, give me it back. You'll get it a day this summer. But I think at some point, I think the wives are like, guys, that's it. You did it. We're getting it again.
I mean, if you're single and you win the cup in a city like
Biz,
that,
you would have been.
You're going to get the dick sucked off your torso is what you're going to get. And if you don't, you should have to hand the thing in after.
Oh, you would have been holding it outside the Jeep selling the Abercrombie used clothes. Like, hey, get a picture with the cup and buy one of my
I would have used the Abercrombie shirts and reprinted cup champs. Get your cup champ merchandise. Abercrombie collab. RA, what did you like the most?
I caught the clip of Landeskog and Darren Helm going crowd surfing. That was pretty cool. I don't think we've seen that last year. I mean, plus Landeskog, you got to watch out for that dangling wrench there. And also when Landy got up and said, I'll let you listen to the old fuck on the team when he introduced Eric Johnson, he was just letting the F-bombs fly on stage. Tori Lekkinen and Chew Chug, I got a kick out of that. And somebody's honey, I felt bad for her. She got pegged with a bear when people are chucking bears up, and she caught it right off the chest. I mean, she stayed up, but it looked like it might have left a mark. And also
commitment to win the cup, RA. You got to block shots.
You got
same with the wives.
I think it was Rantanen's girl. It was next to him, so those Finnish girls are tough.
I heard he's asking for a trade now.
Didn't Rantanen end up saying he couldn't speak any more English the rest of the day?
Yeah, their beat writer, Peter Baugh, the athletic beat writer, Tuesday, did a tremendous job. And the way he worded it was great. He said, Mikko Rantanen says the parade has whooped his ability to speak any English, so he plans to only speak to fellow Finn Tori Lekkinen the rest of the night. Like, just a nice way of saying he's buckled and he can't speak English anymore. So
yeah, that happens when I start my quick time before these podcasts. I lose the ability to speak English. What did I say earlier?
You couldn't remember the word development.
Oh yeah, that was the one.
But
Eric Johnson. Him on social media, him on his, I don't know if these guys knew what Instagram Live was before they hopped on it after they won the cup, but he was just on an absolute rip. I'm pretty sure all the videos have disappeared, but maybe you can go search his name on Twitter or Instagram, and some of the fans had clipped them. He was just a fucking riot. He's a full-blown comedian. No wonder Sakic was begging him to come back. And on top of that, there was a fake news, TMZ fake news. Crosby was not with them partying with the cup. That was a video that ended up getting put out there. That is not the case. As much as Sid is happy for Nate, he didn't fly over to Colorado to chug out of the cup. He's already done so 3 times. Listen, his agent might be working out the trade there for next season, but he ain't there yet. So I think Dale might have posted the video by accident. Whatever. We'll give him a little pee-pee whack, and we can be over and done with it. Now, Nate, that's still an open invite to come on the pod and maybe even get a second sandbagger with you and Sid if you guys want the action. You got the cup. You each got the cup. You just don't got the sandbagger.
How about we set up and maybe Cabot, I think it's a Cabot Links. Maybe they're listening. And if you could just let us do Nate and Sid, they'd do us there. Or we'd do them, I'll say, because it would feel so good to then beat them after McKinnon had won the cup. It's like, Nate, great run. You did it. You won. But you just got a 4-3 by Biz again there. So suck it.
Yeah, go back to the drawing board, another learning mistake, and let's go.
Might have to caddy that one. Biz, what kind of shenanigans would you like to see in future cup parades? Like, what are these guys are having fun the last few years, but is there anything you'd like to see?
Oh my God. I mean, if we could go completely off the grid, which would probably not be able to be a reality, but imagine each player got to develop their own float. Like they could have whatever theme they wanted. I mean, I don't know. That would be pretty good. No,
Nah,
Yours is just
different.
KY gel and like pictures of yourself with your shirt off and some of these magazines you used to pose for.
bring
With the
every girl, every stripper female from Montreal, fly them in, just have the greasiest. It'll look like, was it called Caravana in Toronto on acid? RA, what would you have for a float?
Drugs.
Yeah, I mean, I would like my own truck, maybe a pickup truck, just me and like some of my friends in it, and yeah, just get buckled for the ride. I don't know. I don't know what I would do. I mean, it's such a thing. You have to like, I think, go through it and then realize, all right, this is what I want to do.
You and Stu Feiner would and crew would roll the world's biggest joint for the world Guinness Book of World Records or whatever the fuck it's called, and you would go around to all the fans and pass it around. Well, I mean, that could be legal in Colorado. That would have been the perfect place for that float.
Yeah, like they were doing with the Pink Whitney up and down the lineup. Gabe Landeskog feeding everybody the Pink Whitney. Yeah, just have one big wonder joint and see if it lasts the whole parade. That could be a good idea, Biz.
But other than so, when they finished the parade, did they end up? Oh no, because they were outside and they were. Hey, there was quite a few people that showed up. That looked like it rivaled Chicago, but I might be speaking out of my ass right now.
I think Chicago had big numbers.
Chicago was just way more people. So I mean, Denver had a great crowd, but it's probably smaller numbers wise than Chicago.
I just went full Trump on like sending the picture of the inauguration compared to Obama's. Get the side by side.
Oh shit.
Fake news.
Any other final
or
thoughts
fake news
on Colorado, the parade, before we get along to the player news? Lots of player news this week. Any final thoughts on the parade, boys?
If I have another one, I can't think of them. I'll bring it up later because that was hilarious viewing some of the stuff coming out.
Yeah, it was good.
You know what I did forget to mention? People off the hop when we were talking about Boston Levi and Dante was people were loving the sneaky banger. Well, sneaky
people
bangers,
like your sneaky banger.
You think they fucking didn't? They like both of them, bitch. They didn't like yours, and there were people who were submitting underneath some of the worst tracks of all time. Like legit didn't get me going this much. Now I do have two sneaky bangers for you guys, considering it was Canada Day on Friday and then Monday was July 4th. I'll start with the American sneaky banger. Nate Dogg and Warren G. Nobody does it better. That is a fucking sneaky banger.
I'm writing this down.
Oh, no, you've never heard Nobody Does It Better by Warren G. You're going to be cruising.
No, I'm sure I have, but I'm one of those people that once I hear it, I just don't know the name of it. You know what I mean?
You're going to be in Nantucket with your windows down. You might put shocks on your Escalade with Ryder riding shotgun. Nobody.
No, I was on Pimp My Ride and they put like a hot tub in the back.
Oh, did they? And then for you Canadians, and I'm pretty sure you guys are familiar with Bare Naked Ladies. You've heard of them, RA, right?
Yeah, I tried to get stoned with them when they were in Boston once, and they politely declined.
They're like, no thanks, dude.
Yeah.
And this is going to take people a little bit off guard. It's a bit of a slow song. Lovers in a Dangerous Time. Sneaky banger. Representing Canada. Write those down right now, Merle.
So that's very slow. So that's something very slow that wouldn't really fire you up necessarily.
Oh, yeah.
Well, you said some of the songs that people gave didn't fire you up. So if you're saying that's a slow song, some people are probably not going to be that fired up, right?
Listen to it. It's a slower song, but it'll get you going.
And I'm happy you said U.S. and a Canadian one because I had a Swedish one lined up for the listeners. Ace of Base.
Oh my God!
Swedish band, and the one song that's a sneaky banger, "Beautiful Life." Sneaky banger before you go out and
send me that so I can listen to it as soon as I get it. I know Ace of Base.
Beautiful Life.
Yeah. The Sign is the famous one, but the Beautiful Life's the sneaky one.
Who's the other famous band from Sweden? ABBA?
ABBA, yeah.
That's RA's generation. That's when he was wearing his bell bottoms and fucking watching every goddamn John Travolta flick 10 times at night.
Gee, I heard you were trying to chime in there for a sec. What do you got for us, buddy?
Actually, RA, my buddies, the Loud Luxury guys, they're dropping a new song this Friday. It's called These Nights, and it is unbelievable. They gave me a little sneak preview. They're playing at Brooklyn Mirage this Sunday in New York, so I'm excited to go see them, excited to see them play it live. But it's an unbelievable song. So my sneaky banger of the week, These Nights by Loud Luxury.
Can't wait to check it out, my friend. Hey, gang, listen, Shady Rays is back for another run around the sun. Shady Rays sunglasses offer an industry-best combination of fit, style, and performance without the big brand price tag. You know, I wear them all the time because they're so comfortable, they look good, and they're awesome sunglasses. And it doesn't stop at the quality. Shady Rays offers the most insane protection program in all of eyewear. Every pair is backed by lost and broken replacements. If you lose or break your pair, even on day one, they send you a brand new pair of this. Boom. They're unreal. I don't leave the house without them. They're my tortoiseshell Shady Rays. Wear them all year round. They're polarized. They do the trick. And if you don't love them for some reason, you can exchange for a new pair or return them for free within 30 days. There's no risk when you shop with Shady Rays. Their team always has your back. So go to shadyrays.com/chiclets for 50% off two or more pairs of polarized sunglasses. That's buy one, get one free. You can't beat them. They look good. You look good, you feel good, you play good, you podcast good, right, Biz?
Yeah. And I'm going to need some of those in camo, as well as let's start making some more merch in camo, please. I'm going to prove you guys wrong about my wilderness experience. Thank you, Brunelli.
Get some big player news, like I mentioned. Tampa Bay traded veteran defenseman Ryan McDonough to Nashville for defenseman Philip Myers and minor leaguer Grant Mismash. The Athletic reported it was a, quote, bit of a shock to McDonough, and it left him with his head spinning. Alex Colon said it was very hard to see him go. The 33-year-old has 4 years left at $6.75 million. It was obviously a salary dumped by Tampa, who always seems to have to do this every year. Tampa Bay will not be buying out Phil Myers like a lot of people speculated. McDonough, of course, won 2 cups. He's third all-time, 2 cups with Tampa, third all-time in playoff games with Tampa D-men with 89. Myers had 4 points in 27 games last year. He's only 25. He's got 1 year left at $2.55 million. Then will be restricted free agent. And Mismash was a second-round pick of the 2017 draft, spent last season in AHL Milwaukee. He's in the last year of his ELC. Let's go to you first on this one. No surprise, I guess, that he got traded. I mean, obviously to him, but what do you make of this one, brother?
Yeah, you say no surprise, and I guess people knew that there was a chance of this happening. But for me, if I'm a Tampa fan or one of the guys in that team, that's a tough one. That's a tough one to swallow. And it's not to say that didn't have to happen with the situation they're in with being up against the cap and having to re-sign certain guys. But that guy was completely a part of changing everything there. I mean, I look back and people thought like, wow, he's kind of on the back nine when the Rangers traded him, maybe. Without him, no chance they win those 2 cups. And I think for him or the news to come out that he was shocked and kind of like, holy shit, that makes me just kind of feel for him a little bit, because he did every single thing that he was asked to do there. His teammates loved him, and that's the business, dude. Boom, it's done. So I feel that that's probably just a summer for him now, where he's just trying to think about how am I going to get like fired up and ready to play with a new team. It's just hard, I think, for a little while. So I'm not shocked, but I did feel bad for him.
I tended to not feel as bad when he went to another team with no state tax. That really popped out, obviously, right off the hop. No, but hey, I was talking about Orps earlier and just his professionalism and you know what he provided to the locker room. And McDonough, when he went over to Tampa, like he was that guy beforehand, but obviously helped them solidify those cups, helped grow Cernak's game and some other young defensemen there, because he can, you know, he's a guy where those guys can, you know, go talk to him and he can mentor them. Along with that, with not only sacrificing his body, but playing top level hockey as long as he's been in Tampa. And I would consider him probably their second best defenseman other than Hedman. And some people, considering all situations, would put him pretty much close to neck and neck. And I was shocked to hear the news, but the news did come out before he was actually traded. And I think everybody saw that roll out and was like, what? And then to see it happen as quickly as it did, that's what was shocking to me. Now, I'm really happy for him in the fact that he's going to a very solid team with a very good goaltender. Yossi needed a little bit of help having another guy underneath him. And obviously McDonough's used to playing that second guy role. So going over there, I'm sure he's going to be happy. And you mentioned like, oh, it's going to be a summer of him trying to put the pieces together and like trying to get fired up. I think once he gets to training camp and he meets all those unbelievable guys in that awesome organization and he gets to live in Nashville, he'll forget about it fairly quickly. But as far as the Tampa organization, it's hard for me to question Brisebois and what he's seeing. I think that he probably thinks that Cernak and Foote and some of these younger defensemen, given their low cap hits, can fill in that role. And I'm not saying it's going to be one guy doing it, but maybe collectively between 2-3 guys can maybe provide what McDonough did. And, sometimes some of these GMs are trying to predict the downturn of when maybe guys start slowing down a little bit, evaluate that based on the cap hit. So that probably has to be the hardest decision that Brisebois has had to make since being a GM of the Tampa Bay Lightning, especially considering a guy who was a key component to bring you all that success in 2 cups. But this, to me, is the beauty of the new National Hockey League. The fact that you have to constantly be making moves in order to stay underneath that hard cap. Some people, Alan Walsh has probably just spiked his laptop or his phone listening to that. But RA and Merles, would you guys not agree that now you get all this excitement from even the regular season, then of course NHL playoffs, it's second to none. And then the minute the season ends, all of a sudden, all this crazy shit has to happen so teams can rebolster, get under the cap, and get ready for next year. And you're seeing these unbelievable players in new markets. And I think that that's going to help grow the game. So I know I've been long-winded about this. Congrats to McDonough on an unreal stint in Tampa. It sucks that he's got to leave. I know those guys in the locker room are going to miss him deeply because of what he brings on and off the ice. But good luck to him in Nashville. And look out, man. Nashville, sneaky banger.
The speculation is obviously some of that money is going to go toward Andre Palat's new deal. He was coming off a 5-year, $26.5 million deal, 5.3 a year. The way he performed in the playoffs, you got to assume he's going to be getting a nice little raise there. And also Tampa signed Nick Paul, guy they picked up at the trade deadline, signed Nick Paul to a 7-year, $20 million extension with the $3.15 million cap hit. He's got a no-trade clause for the first 4 years, a modified no-trade for the last 3. The 27-year-old had 16 goals and 16 assists in 80 games split with Ottawa and Tampa last year. Of course, in the playoffs, he had 5 goals, 4 assists in 23 games. And Tampa's so good at finding these middle 6 guys at the deadline. They can grind, they can score, they can do all those, utility things that a coach likes to see them get done. And I mean, he carved himself out a nice little deal that'll set him up pretty well here, Biz.
I was just going to go quickly back to Myers. You've seen what they've done with other defensemen in the organization. I'm pretty sure they can figure out a way to make him very useful. So that being a good add with getting rid of McDonough. In the nature of the business, like all of a sudden you have one guy on their first cup run in the bubble. Palat was probably the what's the term I'm looking for? Probably their most valuable player outside of the obvious guys. I want to say he had 11 goals in that playoff. And then you see what he does these playoffs as well. So of course you got to end up getting rid of one piece in order to secure another. I think that that's probably the right mindset and trying to lock him down. Going over to Nick Paul, the only criticism I've seen online where maybe some of his underlying analytics numbers, like I give 2 fucks about that. Did you watch playoffs? Every time in the midst of a series where there was a few big plays that needed to be made, it just seemed like it was him making it. He fit in there like a glove. He was the one who rose to the occasion in Game 7 against the Leafs. He's a guy who can play in all situations, and he's a great Swiss Army knife. I think that there was also a guy, was it not Cousins? There was a player who signed a 7-year deal, very similar in Nashville. I think it was a Colton Sissons.
Tanev got one, didn't he, with Pittsburgh?
He got one too, but I think Colton Sissons got that 7-year where he was at like a 2.7 number. And I look at Nick Paul as a very similar player where, yeah, maybe his offense did struggle a little bit playing with Ottawa, but there's more guys to snap it around with and better players to play with in Tampa, at least as of now. I think this is an awesome deal for a big body who's going to be a utility guy for a long time. A great signing and a great trade where now it makes it all worth it based on what they gave up to get him at the deadline.
Biz, you are correct. Colton Sissons signed a 7-year, $20 million deal.
Well, what's the AAV come to?
2.857.
Oh, fuck. I was pretty close. Fuck, memory like an elephant, boys? I'm going to cross.
Don't forget about Sergachev down in Tampa Bay. He's going to fill right in for McDonough. He deserves to play more. He played great in the playoffs. Much cheaper than McDonough.
He's on the gas.
So you can't have everything. You had to get rid of somebody.
Cal Foote too.
Yeah, Biz, we had a pretty big monster trade as well. LA acquired Kevin Fiala from Minnesota for defensive prospect Brock Faber in LA's first round of this year. Then they in turn signed Fiala to a 7-year extension worth just over $55 million. Carries a cap hit of $7.875 million. He's got a no move for years 2 through 4 and a modified no trade clause from years 5 through 7. Billy Guerin had no concerns whatsoever about trading him to a Western Conference team. And I want to ask you, Biz, is this the trade that both teams can win at some point? I know we like to do win or lose, but it feels like when all is said and done, both teams might really benefit from this trade.
100%. In this situation, if you're Bill Guerin, you're just looking towards the future. So as far as trading them inside the conference, yeah, not ideal, but you're just looking for your biggest return. I think that from what I'm hearing, that is going to, Forsberg is probably going to land in that 8.5 range with Nashville. I love this move by LA. We know that their window, as far as having Kopitar and Doughty, they're in win now mode, along with the young prospects they've had come in. You got that Byfield who could take another step next season. Now, all of a sudden, in the second half of the season, Fiala was running his own line. He plays with a chip on his shoulder. He was very dominant. Look at his numbers in the closeout games of that season last year, where they were still battling for playoff position and they're playing in some pretty intense games. I think he's a world-class player. I think it's a great average for him. And he gets to move over to a team where they got other guys now too. They got the Dano. They're going to be a very, very good hockey team. And Rob Blake had to do something big, and he went out and did it. And I think that in a perfect world, Bill Guerin would have signed him and wanted to keep Fiala, but given the cap hell that they're up for in the next 2 years, they just need to be smart about managing their assets, collect as many draft picks as possible, draft well, and all of a sudden in years 3 and 4 from now, when they're coming out of that cap hell, they got, what would that be? I think that would be Kaprizov's last year of his 5-year deal. And then you got some other pieces around. So Billy G's got his hands full. Just given the situation that he was put in, but I'll throw it over to you, Whit. I love the move for LA. I love Fiala as a player. And I think that we're going to see more of what we saw towards the end of the season, and maybe not so much of the disappearing act that was in playoffs.
Yeah, it's just something that had to be done. Like second in every category to Kaprizov in the entire season. Like it was just, he had a breakout year. I was reading an article that said when COVID originally came, before it paused the season in 2020, from February 1st to then, he had the most points in the league, or second most points in the league. So he's breaking out, little dip back last season, and then this season just explodes. But when you have what's happened with the buyouts of Ryan Suter and Parise, these are other things that are going to have to happen. We talked about them getting hammered by the cap. And so I think when you look now, Fiala is moving on because there was no chance they could pay him. Like it was like, why even mess around? This is what he's going to get. He signed it right away. But the Wild now, they got 2 first-round picks, and then this defenseman, he plays at Minnesota. So what a dream scenario for him. He gets traded to where he's playing in college, and then he's a homeboy, like a homegrown kid, and he's going to have a chance to play. I mean, he sounds like he's a very legit player from everything I'm reading and being told. So kind of a good deal for both sides. I think, RA, you mentioned that. Another reason that you look at Minnesota and they like Boldy, Matt Boldy, this friggin' kid, Matt Boldy. I met him finally last week. He's a stallion. I mean, I got to say, the kid's fucking tall, handsome lad. He's probably one of the best golfers I've ever seen, hockey player golfers.
Come on, really?
Dude, This guy is a pure golfer. Beat me 2 days in a row. TPC, him and this Jack Rathbone took me and Kevin Hayes $600. Boldy's playing at a 1. He's hitting the ball 325 yards, and he's fucking making birdies, hitting it as pure as I've seen. Rathbone's a 6. He's hitting a 2-iron, 260. These two great kids, but Boldy.
Who the fuck hits a 2-iron?
Dude, no shit.
So
Boldy, whatever. Boldy's going to be a stud. He's going to make a lot of money. Hopefully, he's going to score a ton. You saw what he did when he came up. So I think just thinking of Boldy brought me to that fucking golf. And then I played Salem Country Club, and like I said, 100 individual score. We were in different groups, and I shot 75. and I came and he's like, "I shot 73." I had to peel him another 100 the next day. I mean, whatever. Boldy will be good,
But
though.
he's going to be
That's
a
why
guy who
Fiala's
can step
gone.
into that role. Now, hey, let's see if he can do it with the fucking cameras on the sandbagger, first of all. And speaking of man rockets, I mean, Fiala, we were just talking about it. The 1-2 punch of man missiles that they have in LA now with him and Kempe, there's gonna flood warnings fucking half the amount of games, dude. They're not going to be able to play. The ice is going to be covered in water. Think of all those missile launchers with their fucking nipples out on the glass at the fucking, what is it called? The crypto.com now, Grinelli? The crypto.com.
Correct.
Yeah. They're going to be
Today,
on
anyways.
all the Instagram thoughts are going to be oozing on the glass. What do you make of the trade, RA? Do you like it for LA?
Oh, hell yeah. I mean, they're a team that they were, like I said, 85-1 last year. They gave Edmonton a run for their money in the second round. If they ever beat them, who knows what could have happened. And this is a huge addition, man. I mean, yeah, they lost a good prospect the first round.
That was the first round.
Wait, didn't they? I thought they beat someone.
No, they lost to Edmonton first round in 7, but they had no doubty.
Yeah, that's right. Either way, I liked what I saw out of them this year, and this is a huge addition. The money, I don't know. Did the money take you by surprise at all? With 7.875, is that what we expect?
No. Once you throw a year up like he had this year, and it's his time to get paid, fuck, that's what you're getting paid now. You know,
Yeah.
he's a young buck. He could skate like the wind. I mean, I wasn't surprised by any of it, really.
Yeah, they're going to have John Quick back. Doughty should be back healthy. And I looked at the odds. They're already down to 35-1 for the upcoming season. So it's not as much of a sleeper this year. But, yeah, as a pseudo Kings fan, I definitely like the move. Merles,
They got some good players, man. They got Kempe. They got him. They got Arvidsson.
Yeah.
Deneau, Kopitar. That Moore kid had a breakout season. Imagine Byfield takes that next step. Look out, LA.
Yeah.
Look out. You got a new team in town.
I have to load up a little bit more on him. Let's see. Another big sign of Vancouver signed Brock Besser to a 3-year extension worth just under $20 million. Has a $6.65 million cap hit. He'll be UFA when the deal expires. Merles, was the money with him about what you expected, Brock Besser?
Yeah, and I thought it was so. He's a guy that he could break out any one of these years and score 50 goals. The way he shoots the puck, he plays that right flank on the power play. I think it's a great signing. He's homegrown, so they've put in the money, developing and all that. So you had to keep him. He works well on that PP with Pedersen and the Mikey Grinelli lookalike Quinn Hughes.
Well, you just said it, right? So he's a power play specialist. Maybe the knock early in his career is he's not able to generate as much 5-on-5 and maybe enough on his own. I love this deal for both sides. Our buddy gets paid. He's an unreal guy, loved in the locker room. You said he's got a world-class shot. So if he can maybe, figure out a way to be a little bit more dominant 5-on-5, he then will get that contract and at least be able to stay somewhere long term that we probably expected that he would get after his entry level contract. Like coming into the league, I want to say his rookie year, he just kind of took off. So everybody assumed he was going to end up taking that next step. But I think it's a great bridge deal. They get to figure out if he can become that player. They pay him a reasonable tag, and then they can maybe save a little bit of money to pay some other guys around him too. Because now that the rumblings of JT Miller is heading out of town.
Yeah, that's rumblings right now. I know the Rangers are getting mentioned, but nothing concrete on that. One thing to note on Besser's contract, though, is he has no trade protection at all, not even a modified no trade clause. So, the next 3 years, if Vancouver still wanted to trade him, they'd have no problem doing it.
It's easy because you don't have the length of the contract, right? So obviously after year one, only 2 years, those mid-range deals, it's a little bit easier because people don't feel like they're stuck with them for all this time. You said that only rumblings right now. I'm hearing a rumbling that Montreal is putting in a major effort to try to get JT Miller over.
Think they pull it off?
Oh yeah. I guarantee you while we're on this podcast, something major is going to break. The rest of it, something might have already broken, but I don't go on my Twitter while we're recording because I'm a professional. Try it sometime.
So why do you like? Who told you this? Like
internet, Wit.
Oh well, you're so
fucking
stupid.
interwebs.
Why do you believe the internet every time? The internet owns you.
Boys, buddy, come on, G, hop in here. Let him know.
He's not wrong. He's not wrong.
We're not the rumor boys.
The JT Miller rumors are swirling around Montreal right now.
So if he goes to Montreal, Biz is on it. The internet was on it. I'm surprised. I feel like Montreal should just be like, we need to get Connor Bedard. We need to get Connor Bedard. This year,
they still will.
Yeah, I know, but yeah, I guess if you look at like bringing a guy in, you're still going to struggle. You don't want to be too good. You never know.
Finish 15 points ahead of the Coyotes, second last, and they're going to pull another rabbit out of their ass because fucking Gary Bettman wants Montreal to win another cup.
No, because Bedard says I'm not going to play in a college rink, so just get me to the Habs.
Yeah, right. I'll bring him to Maya for one rip, and he'll be game on.
Either
I'll take
way,
him on a college visit. Well, hey, so we kind of hopped into the rumor mill. I'm also hearing Claude Giroux to two teams.
Ottawa
Going home, and then somebody said Edmonton. Now, I might have been talking to Jeff, my buddy Jeff Jacobson, beauty, love him. He might have mentioned that he was listening to 32 Thoughts and heard that, and he also heard Jack Campbell and Toronto are so far apart on getting a deal done that Edmonton might be in the mix for Jack Campbell. Could you imagine that?
Wow.
With dog, you had to reposition yourself. What do you think of that?
I don't know if he's still walking those cats, dude. I don't know if I can get behind that as an Oiler guy. I love the guy as a player, but when he walked the cats, I think I tweeted I never want him as my goalie. So I think that him being that far apart from Toronto isn't surprising because you have no money. Your team stinks and has zero room to work with anyone. So I don't think he'll be back there. I could be wrong. I am very often, but they got to pay the man. The guy's been through the battle of losing his game, finding his game, becoming a legitimate number one. He's got to get paid. You can't take a lowball offer at that point in your life and career if you're him.
I agree. I hope they just find some middle ground because I'd love to see him back in Toronto. Now, considering I had to shave my head because your Oilers fucking put a beat down on me, would you make a bet if Jack Campbell signs with the Oilers, you have to adopt a cat for a week? Like you just have to keep it until it finds a home?
Well, what if I win something? Like, how do I win this bet? That's like, what do I get out of that?
You got any signing predictions, Whit, you can make?
No, I really have nothing. Let me think on that, G. I need a banger by the end of this episode, and I need a possible scenario of a signing, and I'll get one to you.
I think now would be an appropriate time to take out the lotion and give Merles here a double wrister. Merles,
I know, Merles.
You predicted a head coach being hired. How did you do that? Who do you know? Did you read the internet? Did the internet tell you?
You broke it.
I broke it. I was down at the Vegas pool again with the daughter, walking back home, get a call from Vegas of all places saying Monty has the job. Man, I'm antsy. I want to put this out there right away. Hey, I'm a real journalist now on the Spittin Chiclets podcast. So I got to get a second source. All of a sudden I get a second call from Troy, New York, of all places. Yep, Monty's got it. Just the deal isn't signed yet. So I let it fly. And it was right.
So
my sources were correct.
So you had, once the second one came through, you said, I'm all in.
I'm on it. And I didn't get it from Monty. Monty's a good friend of mine. I didn't want to bother him. I didn't want to be that guy trying to get scoops that way from him.
Yeah, right. Scoops,
I want to keep the friendship. And, it was just funny. I wasn't out looking for it. It just happened to fall my way.
Jesus. What's your heart rate right now, Merles? You're at like a 40 beats per minute. You're pretty chill.
Me?
Yeah, you got a 30 milligram edible in you or something?
No, I had one IPA and then I went and I grabbed the second one out of the fridge and it was a non-alcoholic one. So
I feel like after the disaster weekend you've had with the chicken pox, this is probably just exactly what you needed.
Yeah.
It's like a little therapy for you, man.
Nice little alone time here, 10:40 p.m. Sun is still up.
Hey, Biz, you mentioned Claude Giroux. I think a team to keep an eye on with Giroux, Carolina. I've been hearing some Carolina Hurricanes Claude Giroux buzz in the rumor mill.
Okay, I like Giroux.
Gee, what are you hearing on the Jersey Shore about Johnny Hockey?
A lot of people were saying Johnny Hockey to the Devils. Well, I went down there thinking it's going to be John. I know. I was thinking that I'm going to hear Johnny Hockey to Philly, but everybody at DJ's was persistent. Johnny Hockey is signing with the Devils.
Wow, that makes so much more sense too, because they have a lot of those little skill players. So they build that, and I don't know how much money Philly even has. I think they would have to figure something out.
Philly has a decent amount of dough.
Do they?
They do, yeah. I can't. He would go to the Devils? That could just be a bunch of people at DJs just buckled diehard Devils fans like Putty from Seinfeld, just basically hoping that he's going to go there, telling you and giving you shots of Pink Whitney that it's a done deal. G.
So the Devils have 25 mil in projected cap space right now. They could give Johnny Hockey the bag. Bring the Jersey boy back home.
Yeah.
Would that be taking a shit on Philly if he signs like not too far away? And I guess I wouldn't consider them a rival. I never look at Philly and New Jersey as rivals. What is that accurate, RA?
Today they aren't. Years back, 20 years ago, they definitely were rivals. They were going neck and neck to try to get to the Stanley Cup back.
When Stevens hit Lindros, I'll never forget that game and that series. Those teams hated each other.
Yeah, Philly blew that 3-1 lead. I think it was 2000. It was so.
Yeah, that was the first. That was the Gomez's first cup, I believe.
Yeah. Talk was on that team. He's talked about that series quite a bit, actually.
Yeah.
What did Philadelphia have in cap space? I don't know if you could check that out while we keep moving on, RA. I don't know if there's anything that you kind of saw popping up on the interwebs or that you've been hearing about potential signings or trade rumors, RA.
I haven't heard too many rumors. I did hear Johnny Hockey does want to definitely play in the Northeast somewhere. So I guess that can entail, I don't know, Washington's really not Northeast, but I guess from New Jersey up, New Jersey, Philly, the New York teams, Boston. And Boston doesn't really have the cap space. They would have to move somebody. But he did play for Jim Montgomery back in the USHL. They won a title way back when. So, I think Monty's the type of guy who is a draw for players too. Like when guys find out he's there, some coaches are like, yeah, man, I ain't signed there. But when Monty's a coach, guys may be more likely to sign there. Just throwing that out there. The Bruins, like I said, they don't have the cap space to sign him. They would have to get rid of somebody. They have pasta to do. So I don't think Boston will be the team, but it's going to be somewhere in the Northeast, I would highly suspect.
And Calgary, go ahead. Sorry, Whit.
Oh, no, I was going to just say, I was just thinking about around the league. The other one I'm just so interested in is the Penguins, Letang, Malkin situation.
Oh, yeah.
And that one's like, wow, is there a chance these guys are moving on? So there's, Biz, you said it best. The season ends and boom, you have all this action leading up to the drafted free agency. It's pretty crazy in terms of like staying up to date right now.
When I close my eyes, I just simply cannot picture Malkin or Letang in any other jersey in the NHL. It would look
those three, I know, just Penguins.
It would just look so weird. Now going back to Johnny Gaudreau, if I had to guess, I would say that it's like 100% that he is leaving. Now, Calgary mentioned that, they don't seem that life after Johnny Hockey is going to be that bad. They think that they're going to be able to fill some holes. And, then all of a sudden you can snap that money around maybe even to a few guys. But, maybe that's also them just kind of playing the PR thing where they don't, what else are you going to say?
Biz, Philly only has 5 mil in projected cap space for next season, so they would definitely have to move some money around. Not for Gaudreau, but one team I could definitely see making a lot of moves here, the Seattle Kraken. They've stockpiled picks. They've stockpiled money. I could see them doing like a Kadri Klinberg kind of thing. I definitely think they make some big moves this summer.
Hopefully, then we can actually go out there because last year they were pathetic and they were boring to watch.
Brutal. Couple more player signings to get to here. Pittsburgh signed goalie Casey DeSmith to a 2-year extension worth $3.6 million. Colorado signed Andrew Cogliano to a 1-year extension worth $1.125 million. He had 6 points in 16 playoff games. Going to go back for hopefully number 2. The Sabres re-upped Craig Anderson with a 1-year, $1.5 million extension. He will be back for a 20th NHL season. And unfortunate news, Florida forward Anthony Duclair injured his Achilles tendon during off-season training. He had to get surgery. He's going to miss probably about half of next season. It's too bad for him. He had a great season last year. We want to say congratulations to Matt Molson. He officially retired after 16 pro seasons, the last 3 with the Hershey Bears. Of course, he played 650 NHL games with the Islanders, Wild, Sabres, and Kings, and he joined the Leafs as a scout. So congrats to Matt Molson on his retirement. Hopefully he enjoys it. And we got some terribly sad news today from Kevin Weeks on Twitter. Just so sad. Longtime NHL defenseman Brian Marchman passed away in Montreal at just 53 years old. No cause was given. He was working as a scout for the San Jose Sharks. He's also the father of Florida's Mason Marchman. So we want to extend our deepest sympathies to Mason, the rest of Brian's family, friends, former teammates. Just a terribly sad day. And again, we want to extend our deepest condolences to you guys and gals. It's
just
terrible news. Just so sad to hear.
It was shocking. And Mike Yandel, Keith and Brian's uncle, he works for San Jose, and he was with him, and it's just such a horrible, shocking thing out of nowhere. And you pray for his family. You're thinking about those people, because that's sudden shock. Talk about just making it such a dark day for the league with the draft coming up. Just horrible news.
Yeah, it is horrible. It's kind of been good news, bad news, couple days. And
that guy was a fucking warrior. That guy, he was an old school, dirty but mean and fucking
throwback.
People want him on the team. Throwback, and it's just, we're thinking of their family. It's terrible.
Yeah, if you didn't keep your head up through the middle, you'd be picking up your teeth at center ice. That guy would lay guys out right in the middle. But great player, great career, and it's just terrible news.
Yeah, very, very sad to hear that. Once again, we extend our condolences to his family and friends. Okay, guys, there's a little bit of Canadian kindness in every sip of Labatt Blue Light. How did it get in there? They're Canadian. That's how. You can spread the love yourself by sharing a Labatt. And when you share a Labatt, you're not just sharing a beer. You're sharing an experience that'll pair with anything from hockey to hoedown. So next time you're watching a game with your buds, be sure to share a Labatt, because while you might not all root for the same team, you could all enjoy Labatt Blue Light together. Barstool is going to be working with Labatt all year. You saw them at the live streams we did down in New York. We got some more exciting content coming up, so grab a Blue Light and enjoy. Labatt, the pristine Canadian Pilsner. Share a Labatt.
And at the Labatt Brew House, Thursday, Chiclets Cup, all attendees, we got a special event planned. So look out on the social media. We will be doing the registration right before that. And then over to the Labatt Brew House in Buffalo, New York, for everybody attending the tournament. We'll have I think my family's going to show up there too. So looking forward to seeing all of you, and especially for us to release or say or do, or I don't know what the fuck I'm saying.
To announce some big news, Baze. Announce some big news.
Big news!
Yeah. This isn't even part of the ad, but I don't know if you guys have tried them, but the Labatt Blue Light Lime is it's phenomenal summer beer. Very hard to find. You've really got to dig deep and go to like the certain beverage centers to find it, but try those out.
We'll have them ship you a crate of them so you can deal with the chicken pox in peace.
Yeah. Oh, it wouldn't take long to go through over here. I would love it.
All right, we got some major coaching news to get to, guys. Congratulations to Mike Greer on getting the general manager job in San Jose, and for making history as the first black general manager ever in NHL history. So kudos to Greerzy. Great guy, great player. He's a local guy here, a BU guy, played over 1,000 NHL games in 14 seasons. After playing, he was a scout for Chicago, an assistant in New Jersey, and an advisor to Chris Drury down in New York. Of course, his brother is GM of the Miami Dolphins. His dad, Bobby, has been an NFL exec for 40 years, including several years here with the Pats. And I'm curious, Whit, I wonder if there's any other brother tandem where one's a GM of a football team and one's a GM of a hockey team. It's definitely a unique situation. But Whit, I know you know Mike a little bit. You must have been pretty happy to see a fellow BU guy get the job.
I could not be happier, and I wish that Keith, or one of the many people who know Greerzy, like Brian Yandel, the way I do, just could be on here to describe this guy. When we all kind of turn pro, right? Like, you don't know what's going on. You're working out. The older guys are there, the guys who've played in the NHL for a while, and they could easily go about their business and do their own thing. But Jay Pandolfo, Hal Gill, Mike Greer, guys like that, for me, were so helpful. And Greerzy was like the nicest human being in the world. I'm telling you, he would actually care so much about each guy he talks to. And like at a young age, I'd always looked up to him. This guy played at BU. He was a machine. You have to Google his hit. It was on a guy Callahan on BC in the Beanpot, BU versus BC. I think it's the biggest hockey hit of all time. Keith reminded me of a hilarious story too. So when Greerzy was done playing and we had the lockout going on, he would run our skates, him and Pando would, and he'd be out there always just helping us out, helping the guys, like run the drills, get the scrimmage, just makes it easier, right? With somebody who knows what they're doing. And we'd go eat after, like to T. Anthony's, and he'd be like, nope, got to watch the carbs. I got to eat good. And then on Sunday, he'd go ham. He'd watch football and just crush food all day. And he was like, the other 6 days, I got to watch it. So he just, I wish I got to play with him at one point. The other thing everyone told me was that never drank, but always out with the boys, last guy, making sure everyone's getting home, doesn't want to miss out time with the fellas, even though he's not drinking. It's just salt of the earth, and I'm so happy he gets a chance to be a GM because of what he did for me. It's somebody that I'll forever root for. I love the guy.
I just watched that hit. The guy went vertical.
Dude, he crushed that guy. And Brian McConnell versus Chris Collins is another one. Those are the two big BU versus BC hits.
Yeah, Mike Greer hit Callahan in 94, 95, Beanpot.
Truck stick.
Yeah.
You talk about the pedigree. I mean, good for him, man. That's awesome. And a guy who climbed his way up all the way to the top. And I know Ray Whitney was up for the job too. Unfortunately, he's a buddy of mine, didn't get it, but very well deserved for Greersy. And looking forward to maybe picking Yans's brain on him a little bit more and getting some funny stories off him.
And prior to the hire, the team had just fired head coach Bob Bugner and 3 of his assistants kind of out of nowhere 2 months after the end of the regular season. A lot of people thought that was kind of unfair because these guys can't go out and look for new jobs. And people were like, what the hell's going on with this organization? They did keep Evgeny Nabokov for the goaltending coach. Interim GM Joe Will, who's no longer interim, he said that before the hiring, it ended up being Greer, that he handled all the draft stuff, that the interim GM handled all that stuff. So it's kind of an awkward thing. You bring in a new GM. The interim GM did all the draft stuff. Now they got to hire a coach. This franchise a little bit, in disarray, I'd say lately. If you were Mike Greer, Biz, what would be the first thing you'd do looking at the roster?
Well, I think that you probably got to look at those 2 big contracts on the back end that he didn't hand out. They might have to go through a few difficult years. Merles, I saw you tweet something out, and we'll get to the player that you're talking about that they got to sign. But I think they just got to get stability as far as a head coach, and it sucks. That is a bit of a kick in the dick to those coaches to not realize that they were going to get canned and then not have time to go after other jobs. San Jose has always been known as a pretty classy organization where I'm sure that they're going to take care of them and make sure that they're at least getting paid maybe during the time they don't have a job. They might also have another year left on their deals. Not sure what's going on there, but they typically drafted and developed well. They just got to keep doing that. And I don't think that they're going to be a playoff team next year. The guys that they do have making the big money aren't getting any younger. So, and I guess last but not least, and we always go back to, how are you going to win a Stanley Cup? It comes down to goaltending, and they don't really have one. So they got to find a fucking goaltender. I love the guy, Aiden Hill, who they got over from Arizona. You're
always pumping his tires.
He put up great numbers in Arizona, but it's a little bit different than when you got to go from being a backup to a starter where you're getting the net 60 times a year. It's a psychological warfare. How can the body hold up? But he's got a massive frame. He's extremely athletic. I think he's pretty decent at playing the puck, and they got him for next to nothing in a trade from Arizona. So maybe he's the answer, but as of right now, they don't have a goaltender for the future. They got to figure it out.
Greersy would ride the bike, for 45 minutes after every single workout. He would sweat. He would work out his balls off, and then he'd ride the bike 45 minutes. Looking back he was just dedicated. So the team, whatever they do, they'll have that same sort of attitude, I would say.
The Rob Brindamore special. Merles, who is this guy that you were talking about online from Finland that they got to sign?
He's from Sweden. He's from Timrå. When I did my coaching over here, I worked with him. He grew up, his dad is Ulf Dahlin. Remember him?
Oh, he was a first rounder, right? The kid? Or no?
I think he was second round. He played with Pettersson. So they were first, second round. He's been bounced around. He played back here, went back over, came over this year. They finally gave him a one-way. He was playing pretty well, got some injuries, dropped down. Just give him, he's not going to cost a lot, but he's going to be a first, second liner. But I was going to say the same thing, the goaltending. And if you look at the goalies, there's not a lot of goalies out there this year for unrestricted free agents. And, Witt's team's looking for one. Biz's might be looking for one. There's not a lot out there for them.
Which team?
We're taking Biz's team. And Biz has 14 teams.
Toronto, if he's leaving, then what are you going to do?
Well, it's easy for them to get free agents. And they got a ton of cap space left. So. But okay, we'll be looking out for this kid. So he is on the Merles watch in San Jose.
Yeah, he had a good year last year, and he's only going to get better.
Hopefully that does better than my James Neal prediction in last year.
He was getting 35%, right?
Yeah, around there. He did in the AHL though.
Yeah. Went to the Calder Cup finals.
Went to the final.
Yeah, congratulations to Chicago. They pulled it off.
And one last note, though. I think a fresh set of eyes like that Mike's going to bring in, that's going to be huge for the franchise because they've had a lot of people there for a long time. So I think just even having a guy from the outside sort of like, a fresh check to be like, all right, we can fix this, fix that. I'm looking forward to what he does there. I was very surprised, Paul. 3 years out of the playoffs for San Jose. That's the first time in their franchise existence they haven't been in the playoffs for 3 straight years. I would have lost that bet from the early start. I would have thought they definitely missed the playoffs 3 years in a row.
That's why Doug Wilson, I mean, he should be, I think he is maybe in the Hall of Fame as not only a player, but also in management. The sustained excellence that was going on in that organization, and people are going to say, excellence? They didn't win a fucking Stanley Cup. Listen, they were the poor man's Detroit Red Wings. I think they made playoffs for fucking close to 20 years in a row. You just said it. They've in their short existence being a California team coming in an expansion draft, they've never missed playoffs 3 times in a row in back-to-back seasons. That's very impressive. So another tire pump for Dougie Wilson there. And I think Dougie Wilson Jr. is now involved with the organization too. So they got a lot of good people involved, a lot of good mentors around. And I think Greerzy's going to turn around quick. I'd say they're not going to make playoffs next year. I say maybe year 2 or 3 and I was going to actually ask you guys coaching predictions for who gets hired in San Jose. Is there any big name still out there left to be signed? I would say Tockett's a big name considering he didn't end up getting or whatever ended up getting decided with the Winnipeg job.
Yeah, Tockett's out there. I mean, David Quinn, I'm sure that's a name you're going to hear.
Greerzy could be talking to Quinny. Be you, boys.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah,
I thought there was a chance Quinny could get the Bruins, and then, Monty gets it, so you never know. I think that could be a possibility.
And he's hungry to get back in.
Oh, yeah. Wants to coach in the NHL again.
I'm a real journalist now, guys, so I only give it when I know 100%.
Sorry. Yeah,
welcome to the club.
I won't make it.
You work at a newspaper.
One of the best bellows. We had some more history made, Biz, in the AHL as well, as the Coachella Valley Firebirds hired Jessica Campbell as an assistant coach, and she will be the first woman to coach behind the bench in a full-time role in the NHL. So congratulations to Jessica. I know they call her Soupy, so congrats, Soupy. She was an assistant and skills coach for the Nuremberg Ice Tigers of the German League last year, and she was an assistant for the German team at this year's Worlds. The Firebirds debut this fall as Seattle's AHL affiliate, and Dan Bilesma will be the head coach. He said he was asking around about assistants, and her name kept coming up, everyone he asked to. So he sent an email to her website, and she thought it was a prank or something. She replied, got the interview. Boom, she got the job. So congrats to her. A hell of an accomplishment, and another barrier broken in the hockey world. And it's great to see for all us guys who have daughters and nieces and little cousins who want to get in the game. It lets them know that there is an avenue for them. And following the same thing with Mike, and any like black friends or cousins or whatever, or little guys in the neighborhood looking up. Okay, man, this guy did it, so you can do it too. And that's the message it sends to young kids, and that's a good thing. Do you know her at all, Paul?
Foles, is this you? Are you fucking with me, Foles?
Yeah, this is Fairway Falls on a reel.
Hey, there were a couple other things that were going on with the ladies too. Wickenheiser promotion in Toronto. There was a woman that was hired as the assistant general manager with the Devils.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's just they're breaking barriers, and you're going to see more and more of it, guys. And it's a good thing to see. Snap it around, and was there anybody else all right, or did I get that wrong?
No, you didn't get it wrong, but I'll run through it. The Capitals promoted Emily Engel-Natsky to video coordinator, making her the first woman to become a full-time coaching staff member in the NHL. Obviously not behind the bench, but full-time coaching staff member as a woman. That's a first. You just mentioned the Leafs promoted Haley Wickenheiser, Ryan Hardy, and Daryl Metcalf to assistant GM. Also hired Curtis Sanford as the goaltending coach. And the Devils, they named Kate Madigan assistant GM, making her the 6th ever female assistant GM in the league. That seems to be a position that the women are really coming in on, assistant GM. So kudos to them. Congratulations to all those ladies. Let's see. Winnipeg Jets hired Rick Bowness as the new head coach, signed a 2-year deal worth $2.5 million per season. He's 67-year-old coach, is the first guy to coach both versions of the Winnipeg Jets, the old one and the new one. He's the 9th coach hired since the end of the regular season. And he said, we're going to get this team back to the playoffs. So, Merles, were you surprised that this is who the Jets ended up with, and surprised that it was only a 2-year deal?
I was really surprised they took him. I thought he was retiring. That's why he left Dallas. I saw, though, they signed Scott Arniel as an assistant coach, and I believe he's been up for head coaching jobs. So I see that more as a 2-headed monster going on up there to try to right the ship, because they do have some nice pieces up there.
Yeah.
I was going to go
Sorry.
back quickly just to Soupy, the female that was hired by the Coachella Valley Firebirds.
Yes.
He played on that team in Germany, and she was an assistant coach there, and he had high praise for her on social media. So I'm actually going to buzz him after this, see if I can get a little bit more dirt on what's going on there. But what did you just mention again? Sorry, the bonus. I was not shocked because I think it's a perfect situation for the Winnipeg Jets. I don't exactly know how the Tocchet situation broke down. From my understanding, he was the front runner and the job was his. I don't know if they couldn't come to an agreement, whatever. But one thing that we've mentioned a few times, and it's not a knock on any individual player, but just seems like the locker room needs a little bit of a shake, a culture shift, right? That's coming out of Winnipeg. That's anybody you talk to. Bonus has been around the league and the game for so long. He's going to be able to go in there, get the respect of the players. He's going to be able to bring up to management, this is what I maybe think is wrong from his point of view, which now they obviously had Paul Maurice's. They had, the guy after him, I'm drawing a blank, and
Dave Lowry.
And now they're going to get Bonus. And then you only have to commit to 2 years because, he's probably, on the back nine of his coaching career. And, it was said that he was going to retire, but you're able to have a guy where you only need to commit 2 years who could tell you and vet what your problems may be. And on top of that, maybe they do end up getting rid of some of these guys in the off season. So things do look a little bit different. And, Bonus is going to be used to those types of situations, having new personnel and working with them. And I still think this is a very good team with a few different moves and a culture change and, maybe a team that's a little bit more bonded. They got some fucking high skill talent. We talk about it going into preseason last year. I'd put their top 9 against anybody. I think that top 9 is going to change. But I think that he's a good guy who can go in there in the short term and turn things around. And, and if it's not, you only committed 2 years to him, and you can find the next guy who's willing to go up to Winnipeg and coach in Siberia.
Yeah, there's a lot of speculation. They may move Wheeler during the off season. So obviously we'll keep an eye on that. But we call it the coaching carousel. And I saw a tweet out there. Pardon me, I forgot who tweeted, but it said Jim Montgomery got fired in Dallas. Rick Bowness took over. Rick Bowness departed Dallas. Pete DeBoer got the job. Bruce Cassidy was fired in Boston, took DeBoer's old job. Montgomery got hired in Boston to take Cassidy's old job. So it really is like a carousel. And this number jumped out at me as well. Brad Larson, the Columbus coach, he was hired 390 days ago by the Blue Jackets, a little over a year, and he is already in the top half of the NHL coaching tenure. Like, that's insane. Like, guy got hired a year ago, and he's already like in the top half of coach and tenure.
It's a lot easier to fire a coach than it is to trade players with the cap the way it is now. And the first thing that you look to do when the team isn't getting over the hump is get a new one.
Absolutely. A couple more notes before we get to Mo Seider here.
Ain't loyal.
Oh yeah.
You got
speaking of music, sorry.
Ain't broil.
How about playing in the AHL in the Coachella Valley? Why didn't we have that? We were going to the worst places. All of a sudden, they got Coachella as a team.
Firebirds. I never.
I think it makes
That's
total
amazing.
sense too. Retirement community. You get at least there's going to be a little bit of live entertainment. A lot of Canadians go down there in order to get out of the cold. People have money there because it's California, obviously, and you probably get wristbands for Coachella, and you can be an influencer if you're a hockey player for the 2-week time. And they also have that country music festival after Coachella. So the players get to go enjoy three weeks of concerts and smoke shows walking around. So pretty good setup for the boys. Although
I'd rather be in Utica.
All right. Couple more notes, like I said, before we get to Mo Seider. You guys know this guy, Dana Hines, longtime NHL equipment manager for the Penguins and the Lightning before that. He stepped away after 30 years on the job. He didn't use the word retirement in the article, so I don't know if he's actually retiring or switching careers or taking a break. But we just want to say thanks to Dana for, like I call it, the gears of the NHL. These guys, they make the gears run for the NHL. Without them, the league doesn't exist. So thank you to Dana. I don't know if you guys had anything you wanted to share.
He was so fucking professional. We would go to away buildings, and you would have thought we were at home. There's fucking stickers everywhere. Outside the locker room, like everything's got a label on it. They got labels on guys' foreheads, so you can't forget guys' names. But Dana was so professional. The guy who asked me to change my number from 67 to 16, by the way. But hey, who knows? Maybe he's seeing all these contracts and he's been there for what, 15, 20 years. Maybe he's asking for Letang and Malkin money, and maybe they just couldn't come out to an agreement.
He was so helpful. He came in, like you said, the signs were out of this world. I think there was probably 300 they'd travel with, putting them up, taking them down. Great guy. He helped me a ton too, because my foot was so messed up. We were sharpening my skates, like the blades at different degrees. It was just so bizarre that I was trying all these different things, and he had the patience, and he was so professional. He was probably so sick and tired of me. When I got traded, he just gave Kunitz a hug. I'm guessing. I'm kidding around. I really liked the guy, but he was helpful.
He made you put up the signs as a payback.
Yeah, he's like, listen, you're playing so bad. What we're gonna do is I'm gonna have you unpack the skate sharpening machine when we get into town and then put all the signs over the sticks. And then put a sign of Biz Nasty over the urinal box that he's going to use.
The urinal, the shit
urinal.
All right, I got an insider of why he didn't announce retirement.
Okay,
it's because if Sid starts off cold first 10 games,
he's back.
Sid's back. He's bringing him right back to sharpen the skates.
Hey, Sid's not. You talk about being a nut about your gear because your ankles. What's Sid gonna do?
Wow, he's some new guy's taking that job, and he doesn't know yet that he's in one. He's gonna
got to sew that jock together.
They should do a reality show, bring in 16 trainers, and they got the whole training camp to compete for who's going to be the guy at Sid's request. And then he looks at it like when a guy gets eliminated, he looks at it like the blade. Remember, he used to look at the blades and he used to throw them in the junk drawer. He would take eight of the 100 blades that were sent in by CCM.
It's Squid Games, Penguin style. It's just like they just disappear.
Well, whatever he's doing next week, we wish him well. Good luck to Dana in his next step, whatever he does in life. And one last news item, big one before we get to Mo. The Detroit Red Wings have hired Derek Alon as their new head coach. Congratulations to my pal Newsy. He spent the last 4 years as the assistant in Tampa Bay, but he started his coaching career way back in the mid-'90s, back when I was still in college at North Adams State. Derek came in as a graduate assistant at a Division III school that was a few years from being canceled. Started his career there, went to Ferris State, then to Denver, worked his way to the USHL at Green Bay, won a title there. East Coast with Toledo, AHL at Iowa. Then he gets picked up by Tampa to be their assistant, wins his 2 cups there, hell of a pedigree, and then goes for his interview with Stevie Y. He gets hired. Awesome. I love it. This guy's a great guy. He's never had a losing season as a head coach. The Wings have missed the playoffs the last 6 seasons. He's going to try to fix that, but I'm just very happy for him as a buddy of his to go from, we were both in an office in North Adams. I was doing work study. He was graduate assistant, and, now he's coaching the Detroit Red Wings, and I work with you, Chucklehead. So it's life's been pretty interesting for the both of us, I'd say.
Oh, man, great success and grinded out for so long. So I know we joke about the coaching carousel, but there has been some new blood hired. And he's one of those names that, kept popping up as a guy who, with the resume he's got, was more than likely going to land a job. And I'm sure that Coop probably had a lot to do with it in telling Stevie Y, considering he was the one that got vetted by Stevie, this guy's ready to go. He's going to have a young team in Detroit. He's going to be able to mold it with Stevie Y the way that they want it. And I couldn't be happier. He is in a dream scenario because you've got to imagine there's no pressure for the first 2 years there to make playoffs.
Maybe the second year.
Maybe
depending on how this year goes, there could be a little bit.
But then you got Mo, Raymond, all those guys all of a sudden are going to be finishing their entry-level contracts. And if they keep taking that next step, and they got Vrana in the mix, and I'm sure Stevie Y is going to pull a few rabbits out of his ass at the draft and get these guys we've never heard of in the 6th round, just like Detroit normally did. And he's in a dream scenario, RA. When are we getting him on the podcast?
Hopefully soon. It was obviously a holiday weekend this week, and I knew he was tuned up with stuff, but I'm going to reach out and see if we can hopefully get him on soon and talk about him with his new position. And we know one guy who's definitely going to help him get back to those playoffs is Moritz Seider. We're going to get him in 1 second. But first, we want to let you know that the interview is brought to you by Peter Millar. Summer's here, which means more time spent in the sun and on the golf course. Peter Millar's Crown Sport Performance polos are the perfect shirts to golf in. These versatile polos are packed with Peter Millar's signature innovation like 4-way stretch, moisture wicking, and most importantly, UPF 50+ protection. Whether you're a classic solids and stripes guy or prefer one of the bold prints like myself, Take on all of your sun-filled rounds this summer with Peter Millar's tour-tested lineup of Crown Sport Performance polos. Head on over to petermillar.com/chiclets to explore the Crown Sport polos and the full range of Peter Millar apparel. Whit, I know you got some of this stuff. How comfortable is this when you're on the course?
It's the best. It's the only thing I golf in. It's just it's the perfect shirt because if it's very hot and you sweat, it's still fine. It's very easy. It's lightweight, breathable. I love them, and I actually love like when it gets a little chilly out because the quarter zips are my favorite too. But it is the best company going. When we started working with them, I was actually shocked because it was my favorite stuff to wear to begin with.
And they started doing like specific merch for us, Pink Whitney colors. They got the skull on the shirt. Good luck finding me on a golf course without my Peter Millar. I actually got the outfit that I'm going to be wearing at VGC right after we get off this. I'm going to play 18, baby. Right,
you going to play today, dude?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah, buddy. Yeah, buddy.
I love it, dude.
Yeah, you tell that man missile from Minnesota, Brody. What's his last name?
Boldy. Pigeon.
Yeah,
young pigeon that has me twice now. Okay,
all right, so to get your gear, head on over to petermillar.com/chiclets to explore the Crown Sport polos and the full range of Peter Millar apparel. And now enjoy the Calder Trophy winner as Rookie of the Year, Moritz Seider. All right, it's time to bring on our guest. This defenseman was selected 6th overall by Detroit at the 2019 draft, the highest a German defenseman has ever been selected. In his rookie year, he led the Red Wings in ice time and block shots and finished second in hits and shots. And thanks to his terrific first season, he was named a finalist for the Calder Trophy, which goes to the NHL's Rookie of the Year. Thanks so much for joining us on the Spittin Chiclets podcast, Moritz Seider. How are you doing, my friend?
Good. How are you guys?
Oh, we're doing phenomenal. We really appreciate you coming on, and it's an exciting time for you, right? We're going to find out very soon if you're the Rookie of the Year. You're my pick. I'm not just trying to blow you here, but you're my pick. But where are you at right now? Like, how's the off season been so far, and what's the excitement level for yourself being up for a major award?
Yeah, it's been huge so far. So very quick turnaround after the last quarterfinals in the Worlds, and then hopped on a plane to the Seychelles right away to get a nice little vacation, and started training last week, and now having a little break for a big event, which I really enjoy so far.
Now, where are you right now exactly?
We're staying at the Marriott in Tampa, and just preparing ourselves. I got my girlfriend, my agent, my brother. They all got in town, so we have a nice little crew, and just enjoying every single day so far.
Two questions. One, where did you say you went on vacation? Sorry, I couldn't really understand you. The spot you took some time off?
Yeah, the Seychelles in East Africa.
Whoa!
Beautiful beaches. It was the first vacation for I don't know, the last 2.5 years.
Yeah.
And so obviously with all the COVID and stuff, it was really hard to escape for a little bit, and now it was just really time. So
nice. And then the other part of that was I'm guessing there's got to be a bonus in there for Rookie of the Year, right? So if you find out tonight, I mean, we're going hard in Tampa, I'm guessing. The boys getting after in Tampa actually, when you win this thing?
Actually, I don't know. That's a good question. I have no clue at all, and I'm that honest. So I gotta ask some people and maybe find out later.
You gotta ask your agent. He's gonna say, "Oh shit, I hope you wouldn't ask me about that. I was gonna keep it."
Yeah.
Have you had a moment to process everything that's happened over the last year for you, Mo? I mean, like, you stepped into the NHL and you were such a dominant defenseman. The way how physical you played, the way you were able to move up the ice with the puck and make plays and be put in all these types of situations.
I mean, the only expectations I had coming into this year was getting a roster spot, and with earning that opportunity, I think we're living in a society you always want more and more, and then achieve bigger goals. So with that said, I think I wanted to become a leading defenseman for our team, even though I'm young, and I got great support on my side with all the great defensemen in Detroit, and bonded with Nick Leddy right from the start, and I think you saw that on the ice, so that gave me a lot of confidence. And I mean, speaking for all hockey players, I think it's a lot easier with confidence than playing without it.
And everything I've heard about you and watching you play, you could tell like some serious drive to be the best. So being from Germany, and they keep producing better players and more better teams in the international stage. But even as a young kid, with how big soccer or football is there, were you always focused on like, I want to be a Norris Trophy defenseman, I want to be a top pick? Was that kind of your goal from a real young age?
No, not at all. For me, the biggest goal was just always to play in my hometown team. It's a third league team, and that was everything for me. I mean, my parents had to go to every single game, starting by the U21 at that time. The under 21 had a league there, which was really good, and then the pros, they played in a third league, so we went there every weekend. We only lived 5 minutes away from the rink, so I basically lived there night and day. So for me, the NHL wasn't even a thing at that time.
So the 10-year-old Mo Seider, he's not watching Erik Karlsson in Ottawa. He's watching like the leading scorer of not even the DEL, but the third division in Germany, and that's who you're hoping to be.
Yeah, at that time, for sure. And then when I was, I think, 12, I had a chance playing with Mannheim for I think it was an under 14 tournament or something in Bolzano, and that was the first time I really had a chance seeing other kids in my age and see how competitive international hockey is. So that was really eye-opening, and from that moment I was okay. I want to play for that team in the DEL and see how far I can get.
Well, I mean, you're a freak athletically. Did you actually involve yourself in other sports come summertime, or was it always just hockey during the season and then ice hockey training in the summertime?
No, I think growing up, you basically play every single sport or whatever you have time for. So I was big in track and field at that time, and also played soccer, obviously. Always liked the bicycle, so I was big on that. And there was one point I had to decide if I either ride the bike or stay with hockey. And then, as it's getting colder in Germany, I think my decision was pretty clear. So I stepped off the bike and tied up my skates. So but to finish out, I think growing up, you just play every sport and just see what fits you the most. Yeah. And
so when you say riding a bike, like you're talking at one point you wanted to be a Tour de France guy.
Yeah, probably. I also tried myself in, how do you guys call it, the velodrome?
Oh yeah, when you're buzzing around in that.
Exactly. Yeah.
You're basically Quadzilla at that point because your legs end up becoming just massive, right?
Exactly. So that was I was a little bit too tall for that, and because they're all very, very tiny guys, but super jacked and have huge legs. So I'm not quite fitting in that model right there. So I had to switch.
Mo, were you able to watch a lot of NHL growing up? But did they air a lot of games in Germany when you were a kid?
For sure, but I think for me, the first time I saw the NHL was watching Scott Niedermayer's highlights on YouTube. And from that moment on, I was like, wow, how can a defenseman change the game in that specific way? So that was a really cool moment. And from that on, you just watch highlights over and over again.
Well, it's funny you say him because I always talk about you and how like there's like signs of Pronger because you have such a mean streak to your game.
Yeah, you're a mean bastard. Yeah, you're pretty nice with us, dude.
Yeah, what the hell? When and where did you develop that mean streak? Was it something that you always had naturally, or did maybe you get advised like, hey, you got to add this to your game if you're going to make an impact in North America, specifically the NHL?
I think for me personally, it was always a little bit a part of my game just because I always played against older guys and they were always bigger and stronger. So it was not really just throwing their bodies around. It was more protecting yourself from being thrown around. And usually guys were 4 to 5 years older growing up, playing against them or with them on my team. So you had to adjust pretty early. And I think once I grew fast, and finished up with I don't know, 6 feet, 6'2" now, I think it was more easy to throw your body into your opponent.
So you went from getting bullied to then bullying NHL veterans, like earlier in your career with Detroit. I remember there was a whistle that went, and then you ended up stealing the puck off Hedman. And this is against Tampa earlier in the season. Do you remember that? And what was going through your head when you did that? And did you hear a lot of chirps the rest of the game because you went up and stole that puck?
Yeah, actually, I didn't even knew at that point it will become such a big thing, but it was just in a moment. I saw his eyes and he wanted to get that puck, and I was like, okay, let's just go for it and play around a little bit. But yeah, I think he got pretty angry, and but it was funny because we had the whole locker room talk afterwards after the game, because nobody saw that, and then just the clip popped up, and yeah, we're laughing a little bit.
I'm sure the vets were having a good time with that in the locker room.
Going into the draft, Mo, were you expecting to go that high? Were you surprised Detroit took you when they took you?
Looking back, I always had the best meetings with Detroit, and I met with the whole organization a day before the draft too, and I had a really good and long meeting. But there was always that number 6 pick, so I just thought they liked me, they liked my personality, but I didn't expect to be drafted from Detroit. I also never talked with my agency and my friends about where I was getting picked, because I didn't want to get disappointed. So every time you expect something, you usually get disappointed if it's not happening. So I didn't want to get disappointed at that stage or at that event. So for me, it was just we're going to enjoy the moment. My family was there, my agent was there, and we just had such a great time in Vancouver. So it was very nerve-wracking, but obviously a life-changing moment.
Because your draft year, right? I mean, like, you're playing in the DEL, which is a big deal, and you're playing against men, but the numbers weren't like you have 50 points in your rookie year in the show. Like, you didn't have huge offensive numbers, but I'm assuming they could tell your upside based on the way you played, the mean streak you had, defensively how good you were. So it must have been still a little surprising to be like, oh my God, I went in the top 10. Like, this is amazing. Because going into that draft year, I'm guessing that thought wasn't really there for you.
No, because you never even talk to scouts or anything. It's just you play with the guys, you play with the boys, get a couple opportunities with the men's team, and then out of sudden there at the last regular season games there are 80 scouts in the stands, and you're like, oh wow, you could, I don't know, something is popping up in their eyes too. But I mean, I don't even know what I'm doing right. I just have fun out there, and I always think, man, these other defensemen are so much better, and it's just amazing to see what they're doing. So for me, it's just having fun and enjoying your teammates on and off the ice.
And for anyone listening, you can tell me if you agree or disagree, but that's something to me where you got so many kids over here in North America, and I was the same even before social media. Your draft year, you're comparing yourself to others
all the time,
and whereas this kid's saying, like, I didn't really have expectations.
Tunnel
vision.
Just
played, and that's what it's all about, as opposed to looking at possible draft competition and their numbers. You really were just like, hey, I'm gonna have fun and I'm gonna get as good as I can get. So that's pretty cool hearing that.
Yeah, Mo.
Yeah, for sure, and it was different because you're not playing against your age group, and you're playing against men, and if you fuck up or making too many mistakes, you're getting benched, and that happened quite some times, and that's you're maturing very, very fast, I think.
F-bomb. He's warming up with the boys. We could maybe add a seat to the podcast if the career doesn't work out, buddy.
Moritz, what do you got for
We got our European correspondent here. Merles wants to pop in.
Enough about the hockey in Germany. There's one thing I always talk about my experience there is the annual team trip to Oktoberfest. So I want to hear about your trips down there, and I'm sure the fans want to know more about Oktoberfest.
And why is it in September?
Very disappointing story from my end, because at that time I was going to school and playing with the men's team, and a good friend of mine and former teammate, we were picking outfits, just getting ready with the whole outfit, the lederhosen, a nice shirt, some high socks, and a hat. And we're all dialed in and getting ready because we play on the road Friday and Sunday, and we would stay and hit the Oktoberfest in Munich on Monday and then go back Tuesday. So I think you guys know where this is going. So I was hyped up and checked up, and we were playing, and they were handing after the game. They handing me a ticket. They're like, "Hey, you gotta get back and do school." And I was like, I was losing it.
I have my outfit picked out.
Yeah, it was the first time I would be at the Oktoberfest, so I was devastated and very sad because I got all the snaps from the boys and they were having a great time, and I was sitting at school and doing classes.
That's a lot of FOMO from the boys.
But he's gonna make $90 million. He'll
That's
have some,
true.
He'll have
Yeah,
some fun.
you're gonna have your own Oktoberfest. Hey, but Grinelli told me that you made up for it because when you guys ended up winning the championship, I don't know if it was was it at the DEL? You ended up having some fun in the parade through the town where you were probably able to get just as buckled, if not more buckled, than you would have at Oktoberfest, and you were jumping around and having a good time.
Oh yeah, we had like a car parade through the city, and at that point I didn't even realize the guys were telling me, "Mo, you broke 2 cars. You jumped on the back on 2 cars, and
you're 230, Mo.
you broke the suspension from the cars." And I was like, "There's no chance. That wasn't me. There's no camera, so it wasn't me." So yeah, we definitely had a great time for sure.
So for a kid, like, I sense that family means a lot to you. You love, being from Germany, and all of a sudden you get drafted and boom, they want you to come over to the AHL that year. And this is before COVID even existed at the end of 2019. Were you excited to get over and start your pro career, like thinking probably be in the AHL, or was it more like, I wish I was playing in the DEL for maybe another season? What was your thought on coming over when you did?
Obviously, I love being home and love having my family around, but at some point you want to explore the world and create your own life and make your own decisions and learn by doing. So that was really cool, and I was really excited just coming over and playing the AHL. After getting cut at training camp, you're very focused because you have a settled frame where you can mature. You play a lot, you have cool guys around, and that was really important for me to have a good plan ahead. But it was challenging. Obviously, the AHL isn't an easy league, and it's quite tough sometimes. But you gotta fight through it and manage it, and I think it will help you in the end, either becoming a better hockey player or a better person.
Mo, what was the toughest part of your rookie year in the NHL this past season?
Just playing all the games.
Nothing.
I've never played 82 games. It was challenging, not physically but mentally, so challenging. Just to keep your mind fresh. It was hard.
Did you feel like you hit that so-called rookie wall at a certain point?
Yeah, I think even before the All-Star break, right around Christmas, you usually played that many games in a whole season in Germany. So it was quite challenging, but it's fun. You fly private, you sleep in great hotels, you have really cool memories on the road with the guys for dinners and all the stories you learn about their families and their lives. So it's there's always new input, so that keeps you motivated for sure.
Before we get to the relationships with your teammates, I want to go back to the fact that you said you had a couple meetings with the Red Wings. Was Stevie Y always in the meetings when you guys met before you were drafted? And do you have any funny stories of maybe questions that he was grilling you about? Because we've heard some funny stories in the past about questions that he's asked guys. And
Did you hit his dab pen?
Did he pass the bong over is what Witt's asking.
I have no idea about that, but I just like the person. Tremendous respect for him and that he always takes the time especially when my family was there, or my family, just one story. When we played the under 20s in Czech, the World Juniors, he knew my parents were there, and he was waiting outside for an hour until they arrived. So just to say hi, and I mean, he knows that my parents barely speak any English, and he's just waiting for them to say hi, to check in, and that's just something that sticks to your mind, you know. And same with the meetings. He was asking tons of questions about my parents, my brother, what they do, how they raised me, why they would move places so I could become a better hockey player. And my meeting at the combine was twice as long as usual. It was 40 minutes. I had the last meeting with Detroit, so that was really sticking with my mind. So just great memories.
Mo, what was the story behind the bow tie at the draft? And is that something you're going to break out again for the Calder Trophy ceremony?
You wore a bow tie? Man, is that a move?
Maybe tonight. Let's see.
Yeah, you got to do it now. It's good luck.
Exactly. Yeah, it is. So the story behind it was Dominic Bach, who's a really good friend. He got drafted in the first round the year prior, and I was like, maybe it's good luck. So I was going with it, and then Tim Stutzler was doing it the year after, and it worked out pretty well too. So maybe it's a German thing, or maybe it's just a thing that worked out for us. But but I had to really dress up, because my outfit at the combine wasn't that impressive, because I had no idea how to show up. So I showed up in long golf pants with just an easy collared shirt, and I thought that's gonna be it, and it wasn't it. I just had sneakers on, and I looked very goofy, and I think that stuck with a lot of scouts and GMs wear my sneakers.
So the season in Grand Rapids gets canceled, right? When COVID hit, everything gets canceled. You go home. The next year, like, nobody knows what's going on with the AHL, NHL, German league. You end up going to the Swedish Hockey League, and obviously that season turns out amazing. You get Defenseman of the Year, but what went through your head? Like, were you kind of hoping to play in Mannheim again if you're going to be at home? Like, how did you find out you were going to Sweden? And then basically that experience, I'm guessing, couldn't have gone any better than it actually did for you.
Oh, it was exactly what I needed, I think.
Nice.
at that time. 100%, and I'm really convinced I needed that extra year. So in the end, I think, looking back, everything worked out. But to your question, first of all, I was planning on playing with Mannheim until you have a scheduled date for training camp, and then you can go over. Then Switzerland was still an option, but every team was full. And then we're sitting at dinner with my agent, and we're like, "Hey, Mo, what do you think about Sweden? Would that ever be an option?" I was like, "I think in Europe it's the closest league to the NHL.
No
I think
doubt.
it would be really cool to play there one day." And then 4 days later, we got an offer, and loan offer from Rögle, and another 4 days later, I was in Ängelholm. So it was a really fast, quick transition, and it worked out, I think, just fine.
And I like how you mentioned how good of a league it is. So our buddy Merle's here, who you chatted with quick. I went over to the KHL, and he'd played in Russia and explained to me what it's like. Then I signed in Modo, and he said, "Listen, this Swedish league, these guys work their balls off. It's definitely the hardest hockey over in Europe. It's the most close you're going to get to the NHL." So you completely agreed with that, huh? Like, those guys, the way their work ethic is, it makes for no easy nights the way you could probably get some in Russia or maybe the DEL.
Oh, 100%. And it's not because people don't cheat. I think sometimes if guys are really good, they're cheating and they get away with it. But over there, everyone is playing in their system. You have tight games all the time. And the leading score is always right around a point per game, because it's not a lot of high scoring games. It's all about based on defense, and not a lot of turnovers, maybe you have 1 or 2 2-on-1s, or maybe a 3-on-2, but that's about it. And you barely see any breakaways and all that type of stuff. So yeah.
Yeah, very responsible. That's why I was -10 in 2
So,
games.
so it's safe to say that it's a step up from the AHL. Would you agree with that?
It's a better league than the AHL, yes, and it's harder to play in than Russia.
Yeah, I mean, maybe not from the speed perspective, because the hockey surface is still bigger, but the overall game, I think, is a little bit more skill and just more structure. I think sometimes you have in the AHL, people are running around looking after themselves first to maybe get that call up or anything like that, and over there it's more you play for the championship.
Before you got to the NHL, was there a certain coach or trainer or anyone that you really leaned on for career advice nonstop throughout your growth as a player?
Honestly, and I truly believe that, I think every single coach I worked with taught me something. Maybe it was just how to eat the proper way, or maybe just to do a tight turn in a certain way. But I think every coach has a story to tell, and it's just all on you, what you're picking up and what you're listening to. So maybe some of them were great, maybe some of them were not so great, but I think you gotta manage it and adjust yourself, being coachable, and I think that's why it worked out so well for me.
I love how you mentioned just like the first class or the chartered flights in the NHL. So it must have been so shocking. I mean, even though the beginning of the year with all the COVID testing, it wasn't exactly what you're usually dealing with. But when you're hopping on these chartered jets with the sushi waiting for you, flying to Chicago, and nights off and days off in California, you must have been blown away with the first class part of being an NHLer, huh?
100%, because you know where you came from.
Yep.
And you're so thankful, and you don't want to lose it. And that's why I think once you realize that, you work even harder and enjoy the moments even more, because you know they're not forever. And I think that's what every veteran told us. You got to soak in every single second, because it's over faster than you blink, I think. Yeah.
Mo, Red Wings legend Nicholas Lidstrom, he's the VP of Hockey Ops. Does he help you out at all? Maybe give you some tips? Not that you need any, but did he maybe chip in with some advice here and there, given how good of a play he was?
Yeah, he was actually in a couple meetings with the assistant coach and him this year. We're just going over video, and obviously it's great to get some advice from him, because I don't know, 7 times Norris winner, I think. And yeah, it's just great to have someone like him by your side.
What's the story? You wore 18, then 21, then eventually moved to 53. And I guess there's a backstory with the Herbie the Love Bug movie and how you decided to pick your number. Is that true? Or am I just reading internet rumors here, Mo?
No, it's true. I think it's still funny, because I was wearing 18 all the time in my hometown, and then when I got to Mannheim, 18 was gone, so I picked 21. I thought I was always good, lucky 21, and I was going with that. But then when I got the chance playing with the men's team, 18 and 21 was gone, and my parents and I watched Herbie the Love Bug a night prior, and so I was getting on the hot seat, and and they were like, "Hey, we need a number. We need a number now, so we get the jersey ready for tonight." And I was like, I don't know, 18, 21, they were gone. So they're like, okay, 53, and now it's really nice to have that number, because my grandpa was born 53, and so I can always have him on my back and carry his name with me.
That's awesome. And we kind of glossed over how you mentioned Steve Eisman was asking your family about doing whatever it took for you to become a better player. And Grinelli just texted me that your entire family did move to the Mannheim area when you were 14 years old. So was that kind of shocking to you? I mean, how thankful for that were you? Did you even want to? I mean, it must have been a pretty big move for your parents to just get up and all for your career, and must be pretty appreciative looking back on it now.
Oh, looking back, I think, in my opinion, unheard of that a lot of people can say they move places for their kids so they can create their own legacy. And it was, I'm very, very thankful for now. Because at the time you just see like, okay, I just want my normal life just in a different city. And they're like, okay, let's do it. And you don't even realize what that means at that time. Moving places, getting a new apartment, quitting their jobs. I don't know, just not canceling, but putting every friendship on pause. And to start all over again. It's quite remarkable, and everything worked out perfectly. I mean, they love it in Mannheim. Have a great friend base over there. They're both have really, really great jobs, so they're staying there, and I think it couldn't work out in a better way at all.
Mo, do you watch a lot of NHL games and follow the league real close?
Now, yeah. I mean, obviously, then once you knew what the NHL was, for sure.
I was going to ask you. I mean, despite everything you did on the ice, I think one of the most impressive things was this Mojo show you got going with the team, and all this internet content you were providing on top of the entertainment you were providing on the ice. When were you asked to do all these viral videos, and did you feel comfortable doing them?
I think it's easy for me to be in front of a camera because I just try to be myself and not pretend being someone else. And I think that's just authentic, and that's maybe exactly what the people want to see. And I think for us, for Lucas and myself, it was just a funny story behind it. And then Joe Veleno stepped in too, and for us it was more having a good time, and then seeing it actually becoming a thing was even more fun.
Have you met your fellow Calder finalist Trevor Zegras? Have you met him in person?
Yeah, that was the crew I chilled with during the combine. At that time I think it was the under 18 program from the US team, and they're really cool kids, so I know him a little bit. Yeah,
he's not shy, huh?
No, I think he's anything but shy, but obviously a tremendous hockey player.
I think Grandpa Bunting stole a spot on the Calder finalist list away from your buddy Lucas Raymond. But
that's why he wears 53. It's his grandfather.
I was just going to ask you about your relationship with Lucas, and what's he like off the ice?
Oh, he's just an awesome guy. He stayed with me during the first month until he found a place, and we got really close. Did everything together, and it's just fun to be around. He always makes people laugh. It's always a cool time. He's into the same things and fashion, same kind of music. So we could really touch base on a lot of things, and it was just really fun to have someone who's going through the same phases as you at the same time.
Love it.
Tyler Bertuzzi, he's another guy who seems like a wild card on the team. What's he like in the room?
He is. He's just him and Mark Stahl are just the two goofballs we have. I think they're just so funny. Everything they say, you have to laugh, even though it's maybe something serious, but you just can't take him serious because they're just so funny. And it's just so funny to see him being a dad now and doing such a great job. So it's something that you gotta pinch yourself because the two things don't add up.
I read that you're a big video game guy, so I'd imagine you're playing online. Are you shit talking a lot? You put the headset on and get going against maybe random kids?
That was when we played in Grand Rapids. That was my job because I was dead every single time, and I had to be the trash talker. But it was quite funny because everyone else was playing until the end, and I was just watching all the guys playing online because I died. But that's kind of my job. I think playing video games, I'm not the best. I'm more right now. I'm more into the F1. I think we have a pretty cool group there in Detroit too, who play a lot of F1.
Yeah, that Drive to Survive series is pretty sick on Netflix. That's kind of how I got into it. But hockey-wise, like we're watching the finals right now, and you see Colorado and Tampa basically built through the draft. And you have to kind of grow your teams now that way. And Detroit, after all that success, it's been a couple lean years, but 3 years in a row, they get you, they get Raymond, and kind of fill in the rest of the people who haven't seen him yet about this Edvinsson, because I know Raymond played with him in Frölunda last year. Like, we're looking at another monster defenseman coming in to really complement you, right?
Oh, 100%. I think just seeing what Detroit did in the last couple of years, I think our future is so bright, and it's gonna be so much fun competing a couple of years again and being really good. And I think we're having enough already, Lucas and I, of losing. I don't want to even talk about the other guys who've been there for, I don't know, 5-6 years, and I think they're sick and tired of it. The city is. I mean, Little Caesars didn't even, I think, get a chance to see a playoff game at all. So I think we're very hungry and looking forward to that.
Oh, yeah. Yzer plan is buzzing right now.
Yeah, they got the goalie, too, that you saw, the monster goalie.
Kosa.
Yeah.
Kosa, who I don't know if you saw my little chant before the game for the boys to get the Oil Kings going. They ended up fucking winning the whole thing.
I saw that.
Yeah, tell Stevie why I can come in your room and work my magic if you guys want.
Okay. Yeah.
I need an appearance on the Mojo show first.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, and last thing. So,
well, I think our European correspondent has one more.
Well, I got one more. Usually, Biz would ask this. You got to tell us about the rookie party. Where was it? How much did they hit your wallet?
It was okay because we had 8 rookies because of the COVID years. So I was really, really thankful for that, and it was helpful to have a couple more guys. And it was fun. We did it in AZ. And it was really nice dinner, a lot of drinks, a lot of different variations of drinks, and just trying to forget the OT loss an hour prior. So that was hitting us pretty fast.
Did you hit the Viagra Triangle in Old Town? Did you guys go right to the Vortex?
No, I think we just had a good time, and okay. At that time, I think you really learn a lot about the guys because they're sharing stories. You share stories, and
you don't share them on Chiclets.
Exactly.
Did they make you go to the front and like tell a joke and like send each guy up where you had to do a skit or something at the restaurant?
Yeah, we did that already in the bus. We just wanted to get it over, and everyone just grabbed the mic, and we're singing songs, telling jokes, and just tried to make the other guys laugh.
Well, before we wrap up, a special night tonight with the Calder Trophy presentation. I certainly think you're going to win it. Knock on wood. But
Chiclets bump.
But what's
Chiclets bump coming?
Well, speaking of the Chiclets bump, what's cool is a personal friend of all of ours on the show, a kid Jake Thibault. He played high school hockey in Massachusetts. He had a devastating spinal cord injury this year. Right now he's in a wheelchair. He won't be in it forever. But he just texted me. He had no idea we're interviewing. He's given the Calder Trophy tonight. So it'd be pretty cool if you're able, luckily if you're lucky enough to win it, which I think you will, go up and say hello to Jake for us, and hopefully tonight's a special night for yourself. I could tell a modest kid with a crazy bright future. So we appreciate you joining the show.
Yeah, thank you. I think it will be a phenomenal night either way how it's going, but I think everyone deserves to be here, and I think we just tried to make the most out of it.
Give Grandpa Bunting my best, because I know I was on his trade. But
He
hey,
needs the Viagra.
Mo, you're beyond your years, buddy. We thank you so much for your
Seriously.
time. We're so excited to see your growth as a player, and you're welcome back anytime. And tell Stevie why I said what's up, and I'll see you on the Mojo Show, buddy.
All right, that sounds good. Thank you so much, guys.
See you, bud.
Thank you, Mo. Good
You're
luck
the man,
tonight.
buddy.
Yeah.
Oh, man, huge thanks to Mo Seider for jumping on us. Such a nice kid. Like I said, just wisdom beyond his years. Just really appreciative of what he has and where he is. And kid's going to be a stud for years to come.
Here's my conspiracy theory.
What is it?
Is him and Nick Lidstrom had a brain transplant. Somebody put Nick Lidstrom's brain inside this kid because he is too far beyond his years to be the age that he is. Am I wrong here?
It's How about him talking about like very early on about like how much his parents and his family have done for him, and he's just like so appreciative of everything. And I really sense like so appreciative and thankful he's in the NHL. He has none of the young guy syndrome. It's just like, I'm supposed to be here. Like he actually understands like how quickly that can be and how much you have to really like take every day. Right. Because it's a crazy job. And when somebody that young appreciates it that much, it's pretty cool to see.
Yeah, he knows it's a privilege. So
Yeah, and that's another guy that will be going head to head with Makar for the Norris for the next 10 years. I left him off my list last week.
Oh, baby.
no doubt.
There's a lot of them.
And his interview was also brought to you by Skrill. Skrill is the best digital wallet for gamblers because it was built for gamblers. Sophisticated gamblers use it to manage their bankroll, whether they are playing games like poker or betting on their favorite sports. They manage their bankroll using the wallet, which allows them to pay instantly and securely. It's payments without limits, basically. And you can access your bankroll with instant deposits and withdrawals and also draw the cash using your prepaid card. Let's just say Skrill is the best digital wallet for sports bettors, so it's a no-brainer to create your free account right this instant. Make sure to sign up at skrill.com/Barstool to create your free account and complete the account verification by clicking follow the game after registering so you can start using their digital wallet today. Give that stuff a look-see. Next up, a little more Red Wings talk. Unrivaled. Doc on ESPN last week about the Red Wings and Avalanche rivalry back in the late 90s, early 2000s. I thought it was fucking awesome. I literally top 10 hockey doc ever, possibly lower, maybe top 8, maybe top 5, but just a phenomenal doc. They do the whole soup to nuts dive on it. And I thought what was good was, Claude Lemieux gets blamed for everything. And, Claude Lemieux was Claude Lemieux. He did some things, but I thought it was very important that they brought up the Kozlov hit on Adam Foote. And Adam Foote says, I don't care what you say. That started it. Like that was the first dirty hit. And Colorado was just counterpunching after that. I thought that was a pretty valid point to bring up that, the Foote getting 20 stitches, no penalty, by the way. That got all the bad blood going. What was your take on the doc?
It was one of my favorite things I've ever watched hockey-wise. No doubt about it. I was talking about my wife started watching with me. She never watches stuff like that. I was like, just watch this. And then I was telling her, this is when I was 96. I'm 13, right? Like you're in the peak of hockey fandom. I feel like that's right there. I was just so into the NHL. I had my favorite players. I loved Yzerman. I definitely liked the Wings because I was looking up to Lidstrom so much then. And all of a sudden, you realize once you look back now and you see the 20 Hall of Famers between the two teams, 5 cups between them from 96 to 2002, just the games. I had forgot so much I had forgot completely about the Foote hit. And I love how they dove deep when Colorado gets Waugh. They go to Montreal. They show what happened to him that night. They're talking to, ironically, the guys on Detroit who were the ones who lit him up for 10 goals when he never played again for the Canadiens. There was all these different routes they took. One thing I was disappointed in, I thought we'd go into a little more how Forsberg, where he came from. And I would love a documentary on Peter Forsberg, but they did talk at the beginning about the Quebec Nordiques, seeing those guys in the Nordiques jerseys. How bad do you feel if the Nordiques fans up there? They had a wagon.
Oh, finally.
The team gets ripped away from them. But yeah, I could go on so long about this. Claude Lemieux. I mean, Biz, can I tell you the one thing he said that I was like, holy fuck, this guy is just the most ruthless competitor. I think it was Brendan Shanahan. It was Shanahan who told the story. They go in, they do a great job. I hope I'm not, this is a small part, but if you don't want to get any spoilers, don't listen for the next 3 minutes or 23 if I keep talking like sometimes I do. They literally go back to the friggin' Devils when Claude Lemieux and Shanahan are on the team together, and they're boys. They got like Shanahan's described him as a really good friend, and so they end up getting traded off or whatever. They're not teammates again, and so he signs with Detroit or gets traded there, whatever it was, and he hadn't been a part of the team that was there when Draper got hit, so he kind of had to manufacture some hate for him, right? And he was such good friends with him. The first time Lemieux they play against each other, they're skating around. He goes in warm-ups, he goes, "You're a fucking loser. You've never won anything in your life." And Shanahan tells the story, and he hadn't won a cup, right? Like he was fucking. That's this. And you think about Claude Lemieux and the dirty hits, but holy fuck, would you want that guy in your team? All the big goals he scored too, and like there's just so many different factors of this documentary. That hit was so dirty. The amount of police they had, like for him when he came back to Detroit that night, I had no idea it was the 4th time they played that season. I always thought it was the first game they met. There was just so many different aspects that made this documentary incredible.
So I have not watched it yet because I was
driving. You're gonna love it. 2 hours.
Because I was maybe I'll get it for my 6 months in the wilderness. I'll stock up my Netflix account.
Yeah, you'll have internet out there.
My street. I was going to ask you, like, what were the things that surprised you about something that we think that hockey fans know most about, but the foot getting hit, I was completely unaware, and I saw the clip online about that. And then, of course, all the behind-the-scenes stories. But was there anything else that popped out to you, RA, that you might not have known, or any of you guys?
Yeah, and not to spoil. I mean, I wrote, I think, a 1,700-word blog about it. It was definitely spoiler-filled. All this shit had happened, but I did
not to spoil it. But here's the whole doc.
Well, I mean, it's history. A lot of it's known, but I was kind of doing that, kind of like, holy shit, I forgot this. Like, well, what was just talking about Lemieux and Shanahan's like, yeah, it's kind of my little dirty secret. Like, I was friends with him years ago because Brendan Lemieux was named after Brendan Shanahan. That's what Lemieux said. But the story Lemieux talks about when after the game he hits Draper and he's walking out, he's holding Brendan, his infant baby at the time, and his wife and father-in-law, and Scotty Bowman starts chirping him from the fucking Detroit bus, and he walks right over and he puts his foot on the first step of the bus. He's like, what are you saying? Like, it was all kinds of chaos. I don't think any punches got thrown. I think cooler heads prevailed.
Holy shit.
So the next day he has to go to McNichols Arena to get his hearing. And he said all of a sudden he's in like a 6-foot hallway with a door on either side. And lo and behold, who comes walking in the other side out of nowhere? Scotty Bowman. And Lemieux looks at him and says, "Do you have anything to say now?" He goes, he was very quiet. Like the way he told the story, like in other words, like Bowman was like tough guy with the team behind him. And like Lemieux's like, "Yeah, what are you going to say now without your team here?" And I was like, holy shit, he was a ballsy dude off the ice because he was, no matter how dirty he was, he did leave everything on the ice. He didn't think anything should be brought in that situation.
It was all about winning.
So you can understand why he was pissed off that Bowman accosted him, especially when he was holding his kid. But that was
part of the thing. The other one too, RAs is I kind of forgot. I actually forgot a lot of it, I guess, but I forgot completely that it was the game that they clinched was that hit. I thought there was another game for some reason. So to see him like he's celebrating so hard in the line right before he shakes somebody's hand. I think it's Cicerelli, the clip they show. And then the Detroit seeing like his zero lack of remorse. They kept talking about there was never an apology. And it was just a wild story. The reporter who said it's time for revenge, and then Pierre Lacroix's like going at him in the press box. And and another thing about Claude Lemieux. So the brawl happens the crazy night of March 26th, maybe it is. And
yep.
So, that's the game that he turtles, right? And he gets the shit kicked out of him. But when he ended up squaring off with McCarty, that was a tilt. And he he was going to answer the bell after all this. And it was a great fight.
I think that would be a great topic for us to maybe even have like a snake draft or Mount Rushmore of players that you hated their guts, but would love them on your team. Because we know it's all about winning. He would be definitely on Mount Rushmore because he was able to win with it. And he was also a Conn Smythe winner with the Devils. He won one of them.
I think he might have been twice because he definitely was with the Devils. I know
two
that.
If he's got 2 Conn Smythes, I'm going to log off. You guys can finish the rest of this thing.
Because I know he had 3 cups with 3 different teams. I know that because he was
right. So who else would you guys put in that Mount Rushmore of like most hated but want him on your team?
I mean, I know he was fucking.
We can come back to
it. Pat Verbeek was just hated. He just scored.
It was like one Conn Smythe Biz, but 4 cups. That's what it was. He won 4 cups and 1 Conn Smythe for Claude Lemieux. Also, with the story about, I won't say it here because it's so funny to listen to Patrick Roy getting hit by the rats in Florida.
Oh, yeah.
And he's like, you don't let the rat, you don't give up the goal. And then he tells a story with his French accent. It's funniest part of the documentary, I thought. But
Hey,
if you haven't seen it, go ahead.
All right, I like the part where McCarty, when he scored the game-winning goal, he said, they were interviewing Shanahan, and right when he got over the red line, the whole team was yelling, dump it in, dump it in, dump it in. And then he pulled off that sick goal, and I actually forgot how nasty that game winner was.
Yanni Nienema.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're like, what's he doing? What's he doing? And then he ends up scoring that nasty goal. So, yeah, if you haven't seen it down here in the States, I know it's on the ESPN app. Go under Originals. You can watch it there. And I know it dropped last night in Canada on TSN. I'm sure it's probably streaming up there as well. But a fantastic hockey doc. And by the way, I thought they cut it right down the middle. Like, I didn't think they favored one side, but Colorado fans, man, you guys just won a Stanley Cup, and a lot of them are crying like, "Oh, it was Detroit centered. I shut it off." It was.
I think it was a little more. I think it was a little more Detroit centered, but
Detroit won 2 more cups. There was, more things happened there. It wasn't like they were made it for Detroit. I don't know. I just like
the one part at the end. It was so hard to see the real backstory of Vladimir Konstantinov and the team masseuse. He was so good too. Holy shit. That guy was, he was so young. And I don't know, as maybe just getting older and like, you don't realize that guy won a Stanley Cup. They did the right thing. They got a limo and it was this fucking guy, this rat who had the long record. And it's just a horrible, horrible story. And, you don't realize that the brain injury that they talk about that he suffered. So just a really tough time. And they even interviewed Joe Sakic, who they won. He just said nothing even matters at all about hockey at that point. It's just a tough thing to see.
I think anybody who's going to end up watching it probably is not listening to most of this. Now, I'm okay with the spoilers. Now, you said that the limo driver was just what? Was he drinking and driving?
Yeah, he didn't have a license. He had all kinds of violations, and he basically shouldn't have been anywhere near behind the fucking wheel of any vehicle, and he was, and he fucking crashed into a tree, and he,
that's how it fucking happened.
Yeah. Oh. 5 days after they all played golf, they all had videos, and it was weird. It's like eerie. They have videos of them on the course the afternoon it happened that evening, and boom, dude, and Fedorov talks about he goes over to Yzerman, and like I think whoever's telling the story said his face just looked like so in shock, and he handed Yzerman the phone, and they told him it was just tough to watch.
Very, very emotional aspect of it, but certainly you definitely want to check it out. It's definitely a top 10 hockey doc, no doubt. So
well, thanks for the breakdown, boys. I was I'm going to check it out 100%.
Yeah, even if you listen to that, you'll still enjoy it. There's way more that they go into.
Absolutely, yeah. There's so much detail there. You won't miss anything. Actually, big night in the NHL tonight, boys. The NHL draft is tonight and Friday in Montreal, and the Habs, of course, have the number 1 pick. Then it goes New Jersey, Arizona, Seattle, Philly, Columbus, Ottawa, Detroit, Buffalo, Anaheim to round out the top 10. The Habs have 14 picks, including 2 in the first round, 2 in the second round, 3 in the third round, and 3 in the fourth round. GM Ken Hughes said all possibilities are open, though trading the number 1 pick is unlikely. They could trade that second pick they have in the first round. The Habs will choose between Shane Wright, Logan Cooley, and Juraj Slavkovsky. I hope I said that name right. So I know the draft, we're not the biggest prospect experts here, but you got any expectations, Biz Merles, going into this weekend?
We got to get Bobby Margarita on here to give us the breakdown.
He's hammering margaritas. Does he still do the draft? Is that one of the things he held on to, not full retirement?
He does that in World Juniors. And other than that, he's up at the cottage enjoying his life.
Good for him.
Yeah, I from what I keep hearing, the internet's telling me that Shane Wright's still going to be number 1. I shot a text message to Luca Caputi, a guy I played with, the one who told everyone in the world that I used to sell Abercrombie out of my trunk. Thanks for coming on, Luca. He says he'd be shocked if he wasn't number 1. So I would imagine he's been getting tons of phone calls to get the backstory on what this special kid could provide. So I think it would be a no-brainer. If you're Montreal Canadiens, you got to draft the Canadian kid available. But the 2 other guys behind him are not far behind. I think some of them might even have the other kids ahead of Shane Wright. But when you're the first overall projected player for that long, I think you pretty much have to do something catastrophic to lose that position. So all eyes on him. And who are the other 2 guys again? The big names behind him?
Logan Cooley is a kid who actually, I mean, a lot of it has to do with Crosby and him becoming a Pittsburgh Penguin. And this kid's so young from Pittsburgh, probably the best prospect the city of Pittsburgh's ever had. Take away Bugsy, because we're not talking about off the ice too. But this kid is going to be a player. They're saying he's top 3. And then the other dude who's from Slovakia, Moritz, can you say his name correctly? Because I'll mess it up.
Yuri Slomosky.
Is he from Bratislava?
He lit up the Olympics. He lit up something else, and
World Championships. He played in the Finnish Adult League last year.
So
he still looks young. If you look at these prospects, he still looks young. You know, the other guy already looks like he's fully developed, and I just see a lot more upside with these other guys. And I actually heard another rumor of another USA kid that might be moving up. Can't remember his name now, but he's friends with the Hughes boys too. So watch out for the Devils. They might not jump on the Slovak and stick with the U.S. development program and keep the Hughes brothers happy.
Moritz, I wouldn't be shocked if the Devils trade that pick if Slavkovsky's not there. That's what I've been hearing. What's what the internet's been saying.
Yeah, I called a guy whose brother's the equipment manager for the Devils, trying to get the inside of what name they printed up, and he didn't have anything.
They print out a bunch of them,
nowadays they just got the Velcro, but I was trying everything for the rumor boys.
Well, whatever happens this weekend, we'll certainly update you next week, and I'm sure there'll be a couple trades, a couple of big things going on.
Yeah, I can't wait to talk about kids we don't know anything about. It's going to be a blast. Tune in next week, guys.
Good, yeah. Good luck.
There's also another prospect I heard about, but I don't know his name, Merles.
We got some weird, shitty fucking news because it's Russia related. I take this with grains of salt because the reports coming in, they're pretty unreliable coming from Russian sources. But they apparently arrested Flyers goalie prospect Ivan Fedotov. They claimed he was evading military service, breaking his Siska contract by signing with Philly. He won the Gagarin Cup last year. He was on the national team that won silver. Then there were unconfirmed reports he was in a hospital. He had been given some sort of needle. Lots of outlets reported a bunch of different things. Well, apparently they sent him up to some military training facility up north on an island in the Arctic. And this Slava Malamud, he's used to live in Russia. He's I don't know if he's still a hockey fan here. He's well-versed in a lot of what goes on in Russia, a lot of the shittier aspects, very critical about them. He said basically it was arranged by the Siska owner, Igor Sechin, who's Putin's close friend, as retaliation for wanting to leave the KHL. I read the article. It said Russians deemed insufficiently patriotic are being snatched up by security forces as the Kremlin tightens the noose. The New York Times, there was a quote there that said, I won't be surprised if they put him on some submarine and send him out to sea. He won't go anywhere after that. This whole thing stinks to high heaven. It has to make insane. NHL teams scared shitless because this Putin's a fucking maniac. He's a dictator, a bully that is going unchecked. The Globe's not doing anything to this guy, and now he's fucking with the NHL. He's fucking with these guys. I don't know what the problem. This problem didn't exist before, but it exists now. It exists now. Why is that? There were 57 Russians in the league last year. I don't know if they're all going to be back this year. And then today, there was an unconfirmed report that Kirill Kaprizov immediately returned to the U.S. because he allegedly had his name linked to phony military IDs being sold to players, and now he's wanted in Russia. But Michael Russo, the Wild's terrific beat reporter for The Athletic, tweeted that he's not in the U.S. and that he's working on this very complicated story. And again, these are scary times for Russian players. Anybody to do anything with Russia, it's scary times, they say. And we don't know what's going on. We can't confirm anything because there are so many unconfirmed news sources out there. But it's fucked up right now, man. What do you got for us on this? It's weird.
Could you imagine Whit being like all of it, and then on top of that, being put in a submarine, sent out to sea, and then having to live in a fucking submarine for how long?
Dude, what have I said about this country, dude? It's a fucking joke. That poor kid. Isn't there pictures of him with a Flyers hat on, signing an NHL contract? Like, and all, God knows where he is now. And it's just brutal. The Kaprizov thing's nuts. I mean, honestly, people have their families there, and it's really hard for me to say, like, when it comes to family, but I'm surprised any of them went back there this summer. It's like, they're at war. The guy's a lunatic. I didn't even know. I knew about, for golfers, South Koreans, unless you win like a gold medal or a major championship, even if you're in the PGA Tour, you got to go back. You got to serve your time in the military. I didn't know Russia had that because when did Ovechkin do it? Like, he was never on CSKA, was he? Like, it's just weird that they could just make up rules. I don't know what the deal is, Mer.
He played in charity games.
I'll tell you what the real I'll tell you the real deal is 3 or 4 episodes ago, I told everybody that Fedotov was coming to take Kata Hot's job, and it happened his agent was right across the table from me and wasn't having it. So he must have put a call in and
He
said, hey,
get him.
he's not coming over here and stealing my client's job. But I guess it's really wild. They did something years ago. They paid off somebody to get him a fake military pass, and now it's probably all coming to light because there actually is a war. There hasn't been war in so long, so maybe they're actually looking through the stuff. But
yeah, I think it's just political pawn bullshit.
The wilder thing is more guys are signing in the
him.
KHL now. Their guys are signing, going back over there for this season, which is
U.S. and Canadian guys are.
Yeah, that's wild.
Well, you need to make money. Fuck, but
Yeah.
I would not be. My flight back to Moscow right now would be talk about needing like a Xanax or something. Holy shit!
And they're starting up soon. I had over July 1st when I played. So there's some guys in there now. That's so weird to be there when
Hey, Whit, it was Pasha making those fake IDs for him too. I don't know if you heard. I got a buddy, our videographer. Have we talked about him sneaking in and everything? He went to the Bond premiere in London, England. Just took the flight, printed out the fake passes, got them laminated in, snuck into Coachella, snuck into he snuck into game like 5 of the NBA finals one year that were in Toronto. Anyway, or maybe it was game 4.
God bless him.
Oh, fuck. Yeah. So, you kind of, he was doing what you were doing, but he was doing it with the passes already.
Yeah.
You're the OG.
Yeah, you don't tell everybody about it. You got to keep it a secret, man.
He snuck into like
You
a
fucking
private.
talked about it on the podcast.
When he was in New York here, he snuck into a private luxury Coldplay show. It had like 200 people. I had no idea. It was like famous people only.
That was in NYC with my buddy Cal.
Dude, the guy fell on center ice of the NHL All-Star game in the middle of the game. That's the only thing that should be talked about. He came out of the penalty box and fell.
All time. All right. Well, anyways, hopefully the Russian players can get back. I know a few GMs had asked guys if you're going home, and like Billy Guerin said, I can't tell them they can't go home. It's their home. You know, you might not want them to, or you don't think it's the best idea, but they're grown men and that's where they live. So hopefully, I don't know, this fucking idiot gets out of there at some point and people can.
Or dies.
Yeah. That was the euphemism I was going for, but now you'll have the dot in your head, not me. We want to send congrats out to the St. John Sea Dogs. They won the Memorial Cup with a 6-3 win over Hamilton. Merles, were you able to see any of this as our junior correspondent?
No, but I made a little dough on it. Some guy slid into my DMs on Instagram, Merle's EBR on Instagram, and he said, this place is packed, 7,000 people. It's packed. I'm like, well, yeah, but they didn't really finish very high in the standings. He goes, yeah, they brought in a whole new team the last few weeks of the season, I guess. Just loaded up. The place was bonkers, and it was a plus 105 cash. Easy money.
Good stuff. Good stuff. All right.
That home junior crowd can take you a long way.
Well, gang, Sling lets you stream on-demand movies, live TV shows, and live sports instantly on your favorite devices. What you want, where you want. I'm a big Sling guy because I'm always out running around doing this and doing that, and I can watch anywhere at my convenience, and you cannot beat that. Because with Sling TV, you get to choose the television option that's right for you, including channel add-ons, premium add-ons, DVR Plus, and more. And right now, you can get all of that for half the price during your first month. So less than $18, which is lower than any other streaming service right now. Whatever you're into, Sling is where you can find all the TV and sports you love all in one place. So go to sling.com/Barstool to sign up now and try it for half the price during your first month. Once again, that's sling.com/Barstool. Give it a whirl.
I got a hot take. I think it's a fucking joke that the Mem Cup has a host city in it who gets beat out in the second round that gets to compete for the top prize. I think it's a joke.
Yeah, but what are you going to do? There's 3. Like, what are you going to do? Like,
so with that other team, it makes it 4 teams. I think they should do a 3-team round robin.
Just completely get rid of the 4th team. Okay.
Yeah. It's like, and on top of that, and this happens more in the queue, and I think that they've done a good job to improve the rules. But every year, the team that's hosting it, they just end up stacking up. And then the year after that, all the picks and players end up going back with more guys to the team that they came from in order for them to bolster up so they could try to win it. So you're telling me that they had a completely different roster throughout the course of the full season, or towards the end of the season, they ended up bolstering up the lineup?
A guy on the internet told me that like the last 2 or 3 weeks. So it had to be true. I put my money on it. It worked out. They crushed him. I think.
I mean, you were putting your money on it if it was a bot sending you that. It didn't matter.
Speaking, yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's where I'm getting all my hockey news from, fucking bots. Most professional hockey podcast on the market, folks. But it's a joke. You win your league, compete for the top prize. Enough of this fucking ribbon bullshit.
Okay.
Great.
I don't know if you guys saw the hot dog eating contest here with Joey Chestnut. Man, Joey Chestnut on one leg, I don't know, he tore something. He had no time for protesters. That dude got up, pushed him out of the way with a Darth Vader helmet on. I legit thought he snapped his neck like Darth Vader would have done. Just tossed him right off the stage, resumed eating his hot dogs, and defended his title once again.
And still won. And shout out to Barstool Sports. They gave all the overbetters their money back because that's a tough beat. I mean, to still get the W, he's that dominant. And he had to choke a guy out in the middle of eating hot dogs that he's dipping in water. So hats off to the guy. One of the true great, I would say, athletes right now. Go like on a run in terms of dominance. He's top of the chart.
He's
had a bad wheel too.
Yeah, he hurt his leg. He's playing on one leg. Yeah, he's in the Tiger Woods conversation. He's in the Jordan conversation. He's in the Gretzky conversation. So I saw a clip of the year that Big Cab competed. Was there also a protester that same year, but it was a PETA lady that squirted red ink on them as like, okay.
All over Big Cat. Yeah, she doused Big Cat with her fake blood. And he looked stunned. He didn't break anybody's neck like Chestnut did, but security come over and got the goofball out of there. But yeah, it was pretty of a viral moment, you might say.
So this is a common thing at the hot dog eating contest where people come to protest.
Yeah. It's like people super glue themselves to fucking NBA floors because chickens are getting tied up in coops or some bullshit. People are fucking weirdos, man. Whit, did you catch any of the John Deere this weekend, the golf? I know it's a lower tier thing. I know it was a busy weekend.
I really did not catch much golf this weekend. Who got that kid JT Postman won, I think.
Yeah, Postman.
I think he led the whole way. I did see the scores at night. He led after every round, wire to wire winner.
Any upcoming tournaments for you, Whit?
Yeah, got the State Am Monday, Tuesday, qualified at, of course, Cape Cod Country Club a couple weeks ago. It's at Concord Country Club. Stroke play Monday, stroke play Tuesday. This is my third. I'm 3 for my last 3. Last year I was injured. I couldn't try to qualify. So first year, didn't even sniff match play. Second year, I think I missed match play by 4 shots. Missed last year, and then this year, looking to get into match play. Just to basically enjoy my golf. That's what I'm doing now. I'm out there. I'm having a blast. I play shitty. I don't even care anymore. I don't care at all. So I've just really loosened up, and it's helped me.
We were able to check out Riggs's Cottage down at Pinehurst, the place he bought and did over.
That's unbelievable, though, that he has that place. You could see houses at Pinehurst number 2. Definitely along the second, third, fourth holes. There's all these houses. Now he's got one. So he's looking to rent it out, I believe.
Hey, speaking of foreplay, they're in Scotland right now. Wait, what do you think of that? That's
funny. I love this shit. So the Open is after the Masters. I probably enjoy the Open the best, the British Open. Some people say you're not supposed to call it that. That's whatever. It's the British Open. So before that, now they have the Scottish Open, and all these nasty players. 14 of the top 15 players are playing in the Scottish Open. So it's 2 weekends in a row of watching links golf, which just, if you golf and you go over and you get the chance to play in Europe, Ireland, England, Scotland, it's more fun. I don't know. It's just the vibe, the feeling. The courses are so old. You can putt from 100 yards out if you want. It's just sick time. I enjoy watching it too. I don't know who to pick. Tiger's playing in the Open, but I don't think he'll win.
I could listen to those Scottish caddies all day. The guy, Frankie, had a little Instagram story. Just the burr they have, the way they talk, that they seem like some characters out there.
Well, they mentioned him about the butter knives.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. The announcer was talking about him.
Yeah, they're foreplay's crushing it. And who knows? Maybe down the pipeline we got some stuff against them head to head. But we'll see for now. We'll let them keep doing their thing and growing the game of golf.
I played with Frankie and old Barstool employee Francis Ellis. I don't know if I said this in the pod. Francis took us to Bayonne, sick course. And Frankie was hitting flop shots. He doesn't do that anymore. I think he's fixed. So the announcer knew the old Frankie Borelli butter knives. Nowadays, I think he's nipping chips, playing nice.
Yeah, they're working on their game. I mean,
Yeah.
fuck, they travel and golf enough. And on
You
top
think?
of that,
Yeah, no shit.
on top of that, I think Riggs purchased his first ever home, and it's on one of the fairways at Pinehurst. Come on. Come on. Hey, at least
You're messing. Did he? Seriously? No way.
Look, am I an idiot? Was I duped?
I think he may have been up when we brought it up.
he got up to
initially. I think he
pay,
got up to take a leak.
Oh, fuck. I thought he was sitting there. I
unfortunately.
didn't know that.
Oh
We
boy,
talked
I
about
just went to
that.
take a leak. Everybody listening is
Oh,
like, this
my
guy's a
God.
full-blown moron. Yes, I know that, but hey, and speaking of golf though, boys, I'm a little bit late for our tea time here.
right,
You guys
buddy.
might have a little bit more. I think I've deserved a little golf time.
No, absolutely. I think we could wrap. I don't think there's any other
Great
major
show,
stuff to
Biz.
get
Great
to.
job, bro.
Hey, I had my guy, Colton Sissons, 7-year
7
deal.
years, 2.7 a year.
2.8, keep the change.
What would you have done for a 7-year, 2.8 a year?
I would have,
bad things.
yeah, I probably would have let the GM crush my old lady. Maybe even throw my mom in the mix.
Sister, if he's named Paul.
Oh, fuck you, you fuck.
All right. Hey,
I
have
love you
fun, buddy.
guys.
Hit him straight. I love this. Get out there. And everyone, thanks for listening.
Hey, Oak Bay resident. We'll see you guys soon. All of you people in Oak Bay coming here to terrorize your town.
All right.
Mills is an insider.
Have a great one, everyone.